Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. Bob, this story will never end.
That's good?
KZ, excellent.
My roster got leaked.
Mr. Fields, Wild Ride.
My roster didn't get leaked.
And Dr. Aggro.
I'm starting to feel like the rest of my life is the dream, and only the summer of gaming is real.
Here on GigaBoots.
Bark, bark.
We can't stop here. This is gaming territory. Bob and I did not eat something horrible this week.
No, nothing noteworthy.
I guess that's good. That's probably for the best. That's probably for the best. I think we've got enough shit going on in our lives that we don't need to eat something potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
For example, I listened to over an hour and a half of Balan music today.
Yeah,
Good
we
for
sure
you.
did.
I'm glad it didn't pipe in here.
Yeah, lucky you. Lucky you. Yeah, we need to talk about Silent Hill 2, Bob.
Yeah, we do. We played one good thing
Now,
last week.
We need to front load this because some people will hear what we're about to say. Did the MacBook just choose now to turn off? Some people will hear what we're about to say and assume something bad, okay?
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to front load this now. That game was great to play through. I enjoyed discovering what Silent Hill 2 is.
Uh-oh.
I had a great time. I'm so excited about the rest of Silent Hill.
Uh-oh.
Let's talk about Silent Hill 2, Bob.
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever in your life experienced a game so thoroughly, almost 100% built out of hallways and doors?
No!
Yeah, that's it, baby.
That every dungeon was a series of hallways and doors was insane.
It was so good.
Yep.
We went to an apartment.
That's what buildings are.
But here's the thing. When you get to the other side of doors, normally there are large, elaborate rooms with meaning and purpose.
Oh.
Everyone felt like a cubicle. So we went to an apartment complex, and there are multiple floors, and it's like, okay, yeah, we got hallway, doors. And it's literally, most video games, they don't model all the doors that you expect in a building. They're like, there's going to be trash in front of this one. This one will be obviously broken. There's going to be some reason you can't. You will literally, at the end of that game, reach a floor of a building and go, there are 50 doors to check.
Yep.
You have to check the knob, make sure it works.
Sounds like horror to me.
And it was amazing because you hit that first thing. And it's an apartment building. And I'm like, I'm really excited to get out of this apartment building and go to the place we're supposed to go, which is down the street from here. We just got distracted. We thought it was cool, so we went in. And then we can't leave the apartment building for some reason. And we're like, well, that's bizarre because what we actually want to go to is down the street. Eventually, we figure out how to go up to, I believe it was the second or third floor of the building, jump out the window to another apartment complex, and work through all those doors and things to find all the correct things to leave that one. And it ends up, you exit that building on a side because apparently a thing was going to block us from going to the place we were supposed to go. So we're like, okay, this makes a lot more sense now that we understand we were supposed to hit that roadblock and then come to this apartment. Then you go to a hospital that is weirdly apartment-like. And at some point, me and Bob just start slipping into a fugue state of, no, not all buildings are just hallways. No. Why is everyone telling? Like, normally you have larger rooms that serve purposes and things. It was very funny. It was very funny.
Yeah, and I'm also so used to, like, say, Resident Evil or something where they have the conceit of it's a very strange place.
Right.
You have a lot of bizarre rooms that don't actually make sense. And in here, no, there are, in fact, just hallways.
This is a fucking apartment building. You know how many people live here? And I'm like, yes, because I tried all of their doors.
Yes.
It's, it's really fascinating. I don't think I've ever played a game like that before in my life.
No.
And then you get that
That's
can
what you
of
want.
light bulbs.
Right?
Yeah.
A can of light bulbs?
Yes, that's a thing. You use a can opener on a giant thing that it's an industrial sized container, like you would expect industrial sized can of nacho cheese. You can open it and it goes light bulbs.
What? I love that game.
Like tightly packed fluorescents, or
They were incandescents and nowhere near tightly packed. It was just, here's 5 of them.
Yeah, it's just really weird. Which I get it.
no, I haven't seen all of the Saw movies,
Right.
but is
I've seen most.
that a thing?
Nah.
Just open the light bulb can and
Nah.
dunk.
Yeah, he doesn't, I'm hungry. And then he steps away from the puppet to just eat fucking light bulbs. No, that doesn't really happen. Yeah, that game was super interesting. There are a lot of endings. As a Resident Evil fan, I was always kind of jealous, but not in a negative way. Like, I was like, oh, that's really cool that Silent Hill has all these different endings. There's this ending, and then this ending, and then this ending, and it's really hard to determine which one's bad, per se. And then there's the quirky ending. And as a Resident Evil fan, I was like, oh, I wish we had that. But every time, it's the same ending. Nuke the place! I'm surprised Resident Evil 4 doesn't end with, we nuked all of Spain just to be safe.
Yeah, just in case.
So, because we don't know which way the voting's going to go on months yet, we don't know if a Silent Hill month might happen.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't look up any information on the other endings. Because in that month, we'll play through the HD collection unpatched.
Unpatched?
Yes.
In its full glory.
Do you
guys are fools.
understand that Silent Hill 3 on the HD collection runs at 60% speed?
No, we're doing playing Shoot 2 again on that. I don't think we guarantee playing
You'll
Shoot
be a little safer. You'll be slightly safer.
Yeah,
And you get to enjoy Troy Baker, James Sunderland.
Yes. And that's stroke-inducing, the thought that they recast him.
Yeah, I'm very curious how that goes.
But see, here's the thing. We've already had the holistic experience of playing Silent Hill 2 the way it was intended.
Right.
Now, it's time for this. Comic Sans.
So do you want to know why they recast James Sunderland?
I think they didn't want to pay him or any of the other actors.
Yeah, because I think everything's recast.
Because they did the mocap as well.
Part of it was that people like to say, "Oh, Guy Seehee is crazy," and he is a little bit. But the bigger reason is that Guy Seehee has consistently, like his whole life, been like, voice actors should get royalties for the things they work on.
Yes.
And apparently that's enough to get you in everybody's black book.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, there was enough of a blowback on that they did in fact put the old voices in 2, but not 3. 3 has JRPG anime voice actors in it.
Ugh.
That must be weird.
Yeah, I think Heather's voiced by like Yukiko from Persona 4. It's really fucked up.
That must be weird.
That might be another thing where we have to play both 3 and 3 HD collection.
Yeah, I genuinely think that would be neat. Because, man, nothing makes your game running at 60% speed more noticeable than you just played it at 100% the whole way through.
On a PlayStation 2.
Just find a way to run them both off the same controller and every now and then cut.
One moment, guys. We got to catch up the PS3 or 360. Yeah. I really enjoyed Silent Hill 2. I really liked the ending we got. For anyone who's curious, we got the in-water ending. I don't know how much of spoilers we're talking about for Silent Hill 2, a game that's 19 years old, 18, 20 years old, 21 years old. Yeah, I think it's 21 now, or at least later this year. I am going to spoil that ending lightly for anyone who doesn't recognize in water and which ending that means, who's played the game. That is the ending where we did not heal ourselves enough. We looked at the knife at all. So the conclusion of the game is James Sunderland drives his truck off the cliff and drowns himself.
Yep.
That'll be the only ending in the Bloober Team version.
I know. That was just such a moment as I had played the medium the week prior where I went,
Yeah, the only difference is Mary will say, do it.
Mm-hmm. Her eyes will start arcing electricity. She'll become my former landlord when I ask for the security deposit back.
Yup.
No, that sure was a fool's errand.
Yep. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm super looking forward to, like, if not during these dual theme months, and I'm really not trying to influence the vote, then eventually getting back to these.
Right.
Because just the things I know about Silent Hill, like Silent Hill 1 and 3 are directly connected. 2 is like some weird extra dimensional, does not connect in ways that make a ton of sense. And that's really cool. That is super tight.
And like usually that's the bad one that people don't like.
Right. Usually it's
Right.
instead Silent Hill 2 is supposed to be the best. The best. We did decide though, you know, if it does end up one of those dual theme months, obviously I would have to cosplay James Sunderland. Bob would have to dress as the chick from 3. Anyways, can we move on to the next game, Bob?
Sure. I guess I don't have anything else to say.
You sure?
I'm surprised that the combat was better than expected for a PS2 horror game.
Yeah,
because people kept saying like, "No, you got to avoid enemies." Like, no, we clubbed every one of them and had tons of extra health.
We had 6 ampules. Ampules fill your health completely and make you temporarily invincible by the end of the game. And like 2 more healing items, and got the bad ending because we didn't just constantly drink up the moment we took damage.
Which apparently we should have.
Yeah, who knew?
Your health is important.
Yeah. To take care of yourself.
But yeah,
before you drive your truck off the cliff.
I was really surprised that the clubs and stuff didn't break at all. Like there's no durability system to it, so it literally is. Yeah, no, just keep hitting these dudes.
Yeah. Like
we ended with 100-something bullets for the handgun too.
Yeah,
it's weird. This game isn't balanced like a survival horror game. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, most survival horror games are very much. You got to be careful. You got to not waste your consumables. You got to keep track of your ammo. This. Take.
Yeah.
It was very strange. Also, I really like that this version, at least, which I think the original did, but I'm not positive. It might just be greatest hits exclusive, has riddle level.
Yes,
and
you get that riddle level.
One of the most fascinating things about Silent Hill 2, no one ever explained to me. It generates a seed at the beginning to determine the solution to all the puzzles.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Like I really enjoyed Silent Hill 2. Unfortunately, after that, we played 12 minutes.
When I heard that, I gasped and got
Welcome.
Welcome,
brother.
Congrats.
I think we found
this bullet.
Literally. Now, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think this is the worst point and click ever made.
No.
Okay. Was a wide release.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you're out there looking for
the jank C is vast in this one, but
if you're out there looking for like Newgrounds and stuff, you can find something worse, I'm sure.
It is incredible that like everybody talks about the plot twist of the game. They're like, it's about this, isn't that terrible? And I'm like, it could be well executed. I don't know. I'd have to see it.
Yeah, it's literally like, if this offends you, you better get ready for high school history class and learning about Oedipus.
Meanwhile, we play it, and I'm like, I love the concept of taking a small area, making it highly interactive, and doing a loop type gameplay so you can explore that more and more. And they somehow turned that into my worst nightmare. Like all of these things that became, there are insanely long trees. You must follow these branches all the way down on. And then they changed one thing at the end, and I'm like, well, clearly, because like a lot of the time they'll change the option, the dialogue option, from grayed out to white to let you know there's a new option at the end of that branch. And I'll go all the way down there, and then I'll say something else to the cop, and the cop will be like, fuck you, and punch my teeth out. And I'm like, I'm really glad that was the last 10 minutes of my life.
like, thanks, game. Thanks for all these things that look like ways to save my wife from this intruder. I'm glad I wasted 45 minutes getting my shit kicked in by Willem Dafoe.
And the cool thing is, on paper, they add different animations each time to certain things. Like, oh, you get better at dancing as you loop that. You get you fighting Willem Dafoe, trying to confront him physically, you do better each time, and then you stop doing better.
Yeah, just seeming for no reason.
Yeah, you just cannot out mind game Willem Dafoe. So we spent a long ass time playing that game because we would not let chat tell us. what the solution was. We're like, no, chat, this is the gameplay loop. Let us explore each of these decision branches and each of these dialogue branches and all these different things. And then we'll figure out what the game is in a vacuum, which is what we're interested in with this specifically. Because that's the type of gameplay where it's like, if you know what to do, it's 4 minutes long. Right? We didn't want that. We didn't want to experience it.
What's the point of your playthrough just being different than everyone else's just because people in chat are insane?
But yeah, so we get to experience the whole thing.
Flushing stuff down the toilet ended up not being used for anything, which I was just confused by.
Yeah.
Like almost everything in that game is like that too. You can open all the vents.
Yeah, you can
do nothing.
Yeah, there's a lot of interactivity that goes nowhere. In fact, I wasn't even sure why you could sit on the couch until I found out one of two things that explained why you could sit on the couch. And neither of those were technically... One of those was kind of a solution, but not really.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the kind of thing you want in a small escape room style game. A lot of like, this doesn't go anywhere, but it's an option you've got, but it didn't work. Try something else.
Right, and that sounds good. It really does. And without playing it, I would 100% be on that page of the interactivity is the point of it. But then you find 900 threads that go nowhere and 2 that do. And it shows, like, you need multiple distinct fulfilling solutions to that game.
Yeah, that there's only one way to knock out the cop seems insane in a game with this many different things.
Yeah. We literally did everything else possible physically in that game before we were like, oh, this is the way you knock out the cop. This is funny because, of course, to anyone paying attention, KZ told us during Game of the Year, but we didn't fucking store that.
Yeah.
Like, we listened to him for the intent of that conversation.
Ago.
Well, like, I listened to you during that conversation, paid attention during that conversation, but past that point, it's like, I don't want to hold on to that.
Grab onto it goes away.
Right.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just so... like, they made a frustration simulator.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Like, I broke down and looked up a guide for that game the moment I did a loop and like got a new conversation and exhausted the new conversation, and then did 100 other things that went nowhere, and went back and did the last loop I did exactly the same way I did it, and for no reason there's new dialogue now.
Yes, that does happen.
I didn't learn a new thing. I just now have new dialogue to say because we did the loop again.
It was they really took something that should have been absolutely in my wheelhouse and turned it on me.
Yeah, same here. Where I was like, I'm interested in this because I like this concept a lot, and then it was terrible the whole way.
Yeah, and like they did a good job of porting that game to controller. It's got some cool like fast forward quality of life stuff.
Yeah,
but it's rotten at its core.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That one thing you can do that just makes you go, now we'll wait. I was like, thank God this game has this.
Yes. But it was driving Bob insane because every time he said, and now we'll wait, Bob's like, isn't that a line from The Simpsons where Homer hides in the bushes? And it's like, no, he technically said, time to play. Now we play the waiting game.
That's all I could think of every time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a shame, and I think that may be the last game I play on Game Pass because my Game Pass is ending later.
Ending on top.
Going out with a bang.
Yep.
Truly, I ended it on the most... Wait, what?
What?
Anyway, I ended on the most Game Pass game I could have ended on. We also played Kung Fu Chaos.
You did?
We sure did.
Yeah, we beat Kung Fu Chaos. The funny thing is they locked the last 2 levels to you perfecting the whole game.
Jesus Christ.
So we were like
psychopaths.
We were like, nope, you saw an ending. Fuck that.
Who made that game?
Ninja Theory.
Okay. I was like, I remember that title being attached to something.
That had importance and mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the final game of our Ninja Theory week.
Yeah, we tried to do it for Ninja Theory Week. The reason why we couldn't get to it is that game does not let you force 480p. It is a 480i game, and it will just break if you force 480p. Wow. Now, this sounds simple. Dan, don't force 480p. Problem, I don't have control of that on our modded Xbox. It is just going to output an HDMI signal that's 480p, and you games better go along with this, or we're just going to crash this plane into the ground. So we played it. Now, when I heard about this game, I didn't expect at all for it to be... Let me turn this around the other way. I expected it to be a Power Stone-like, Smash-like sort of 3D action party fighter, right? Mm-hmm. What I didn't expect is it's also part Mario Party.
Yes.
And it just changes per level what it is. So it's like, in this level, you're in this Ninja Theory style, Ninja Theory as fuck, giant environment that's blowing up and falling apart. As all of these things happen, you need to escape and fight the ninjas. And then the next level, it's like, do that again, but it's the Titanic. And I'm like, did we run out of ninja themed? And the answer's yes. But then after the Titanic level, it's like, you feel bad for kicking the ass of all those ninjas. Throw them the life protector rings, like flotation devices in the water. So now it's Mario Party, and you just...
I was like which iToy game was this again?
Dude, people said that in chat.
Yeah,
they're watching it, and they're like, this is an iToy game. And I'm like, no, those are more fun. I played those. Aggro had those. That was fun. iToy's wholesome. This... There was
more than a little subtly racist.
It's a very, what's the term? High key racist. Yeah, I feel like it didn't, because the idea and what all the reviewers at the time said is that it's a really good parody of, you know, those sort of like low budget kung fu films back then. You know, not Bruce Lee, but all the knockoff stand-ins and etc. of the era. I know none of them, like by name, but I've seen a few. None of them seem to land as parodies of that. A lot of them just seem to be, I'm going to say stereotypical lines every time the moment to say a line happens.
A lot of times what you encounter, very specifically when it comes to 70s Kung Fu films, I have found, is that, it's a parody of 70s Kung Fu films. Like, no, you haven't watched any of those. What you're doing is repeating shit you saw on cartoons as a kid.
Yes.
You are just aping the parody you saw.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's that game. It's... You kick the ass of a character and then you say, I'll avenge you. And that's the level of disconnect the whole game has when it comes to, like... I think at one point they said, for my family? Oh! Family? I can't...
Yeah, no, there was a harsh accent.
Yeah, no, everyone... Like, for people who don't know, character... We played through most of the game as Zui Tan Sour. The chop and sticks was not an option we considered, but they were also there. So was Captain Wonton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's great that Ninja Theory never progressed, ever.
I mean, names like that are basically like walking through any grocery frozen aisle these days.
Uh-huh.
I mean, have you checked the brand names? Shit like In of Asian?
Yes. Yes, In of Asian was the one that gave me a stroke out of all of them. That was the one where I drew the line and I was like, guys, come on. That's a real brand of frozen food for anyone who doesn't know. It's knocking it out of the park. But yeah, there was one character, because all these characters are like that, right? We have like, I don't know, I didn't count them, 8 characters that are like that. And then 2 characters, one of them's ditzy blonde chick on rollerblades. What was her name? Candy Roll?
I think that's right, yeah.
It's a video game, okay.
And then there was the blaxploitation character who I already forgot the name of. Yeah, but she was really good. She was actually our lifesaver at the end, because much like someone joked about in chat, we hit a difficulty spike that took us 40 fucking minutes to get past one level.
Yeah, that was basically the final level.
Because our character was like terrible, and that level was ball busting. God, what was her name? Lucy Cannon. See, like loose cannon, because she's got a gun.
That's smarter than most of them.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and that's it. It was a terrible time.
Yep.
Recommend it to no one.
It's still better than the medium in 12 minutes, though.
It gets a 3. The medium gets a 2. 12 minutes gets a 1. That's the scale. We really gave Kung Fu Chaos the biggest buff we possibly could have. And we thought we did the same for 12 minutes, but that was terrible.
Yeah.
Anyways, aside from that, I played Skate City on my phone. It's an Apple Arcade game, skating game. You have touch controls and stuff. You can also use a controller. I didn't have enough time to get used to using a controller, but the controls on this game are very strange because they're trying to make a skateboarding game on a phone. So
Right.
Hold the phone level and then you kick flip it.
yeah, you just flip the fucking phone over. You use your left thumb. You get a virtual joystick when you put it down.
Okay.
You stick it in any direction, you'll do certain types of flips. If you want a manual, you then need to hit the upper left part of your phone before you land.
So is this like a skateboard game with 3D with a camera
3D
behind
graphics,
Okay.
but 2D playing field.
Oh, okay.
Which your character will automatically go into the foreground and background to grind on things.
you? Okay.
But it is just you push the lower right to kick, you do other stuff. Anyways, you kick flip, you do the manual by tapping the upper left. Now in the middle, keep in mind, I have a big ass phone. This is the first time. The only reason I got it because the camera is better. But you need to then move your hands in this far to hit the balancing buttons, which are in the middle, and then tap them to keep balance while you do a manual. It should be so cool. It should be so neat. It has so much in common with Ollie Ollie in a sense.
Okay, yeah.
But I really can't enjoy playing it. And it made me realize, no matter the fact my phone has a screen that's basically G-Sync, right? It has variable refresh rate. It syncs the display to the frame rate of whatever you're doing. That's never going to be enough for some mobile games that'll just shit and then hit a spike of not rendering frames.
That's insane because your phone is insanely powerful.
Oh yeah, no, this is the best phone for gaming on the planet. This is the cutting edge. This is the absolute peak of gaming on phones right now when it comes to GPU performance and stuff, right?
Skate City is just too much, though.
Dude, I can tell it's going over 60 at times. You know, it's running real smooth. And then it'll just hit one of those moments real hard. I want it. I'm gonna give it a little bit more chance with the controller, but I genuinely just am frustrated that it doesn't have a more normal control scheme. Because man, moving my thumbs all over the fucking thing in order to do basic tricks and things is frustrating as hell. It's just not fun. For anyone who's curious, because I realized I didn't say what my phone was. It was the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So it's huge and has the Pro features. I really just bought it to record 4K videos of Banny, and that shit looks awesome.
It really sounds like the fake name of a phone from like a 90s comic book.
I know.
Yeah, they really got into a bad place of just sticking different words at the end.
I know.
I really hate how the future turned out exactly how we thought it would.
But a little less fun.
It's literally those South Park specials where you go to Applebee's Double Plus Max.
Yes, it is that bad.
Fuck.
Oh, and before anyone goes insane, because I see it occasionally when things go up later, 4K ProRes videos of my cat Banny. So that way no human goes, Dan, you didn't need to spend that much money to record a 4K video. And I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. Anyway, that's it for what I played this week, because I've been doing a lot of setting up for live streams and other things.
And we've been live streaming a lot. Like we even did that Sonic event.
Yeah, we did the Sonic
on Tuesday.
event. Oh.
Thumbs up. Hell yeah.
That's true. We played Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Colors. Yeah, I forgot.
Let me be upfront. I'm very positive on that version. We didn't have any major problems. We had some graphic glitches that were very minor hours into that video.
Right.
But yeah, Sonic Colors Ultimate on the PS5 in the state that it is today seems pretty solid. I really am so glad that game got ported to something. It can just run smooth now.
Yeah,
Because
running above
every
30s.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, everyone was like, Sonic Colors is so good. And I'm like, it's wrong. Look at it. It's just objectively, you just showed me like garbage you pulled out of a trash and said, it's delicious. You should eat it. And I'm like, that's not food. But yeah, I really appreciate this port. I really appreciate this version. Like, they've drastically improved the gameplay feel from that perspective. It still feels a lot like Generations, in my opinion. It still feels a lot like those games. So if you like that or do not like that. That will determine whether or not you like Sonic Colors. With the added layer with Sonic Colors of wisps will be locked in levels until you beat later levels that unlock them in the earlier levels. So the idea is just quickly play through the game, and then the abilities will be back there. So then do it again with the abilities to get to get all of the things. Because apparently, in order to become Supersonic, it's not story tied for once, is what people tell me. You go through the game and you try to get enough of these red star rings. There are 5 in each level to unlock the weird mini game that reminds me of Sonic Rivals on the PSP. To beat those, to get enough emeralds to become Supersonic. And it's like, well, that feels weird because it's not tied to the story. They tell me.
Yeah,
I don't.
Those levels are also super weird.
The Sonic Rivals things are bizarre as hell. There will be a thing, and it's like, I'm the finish line, and I'll fly through it, and then I'll be like, are you going to end? And it goes, yes, now. And it's like 4 or 5 seconds every time, and I'm like, why is it not ending?
And it just spawns coins in random spurts, too. It's like, what?
Yeah, it just shoots coins out when you hit it. It's really bizarre. It's really bizarre. But now that they've done this version, I'm excited to go review Generations and it side by side to be like, well, which one do I like more? They fixed them both.
Right.
Generations runs at 60 on consoles now, at least on Series X.
Right. Yes.
And it runs at 60 on PC the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a weird situation where it's like the best way to play Sonic is on PC, and I'm like, am I in hell?
Right? What the fuck?
Yeah.
How'd this happen?
So I'm glad the FPS boost and back compat improvements finally came along and made any platform suitable to play that game at a nice 60. So I don't know. I feel like I'm excited to go back and play Generations and that and beat them both, and then be like, which one do I like more? Because while I'm not that much into Nostalgia Wink, I'm really not. Like everyone, it was funny during the Sonic Color streams, people were asking us, well, which level do you want to come back? And I'm like, I kind of don't. I was mostly just making jokes about the fact Green Hill comes back 300 times. Emerald Hill never comes back.
Hilltop for life.
Hilltop for life? Okay, sure. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I on paper, I like the soundtrack of Generations a lot. Like, those are good remixes of great songs.
Yeah, I was surprised how kind of bad the Colors soundtrack was, especially the opening song.
Yeah, that opening song, they were telling me that one's a translation. Like the original song maybe doesn't have the US vocals or...
Okay.
Yeah, so... Whew. Yeah, no, the fucking vocoding is so bad on that.
Also, I'm very curious, like, when Colors was first coming out, I kept hearing Colors is the good Sonic game. Mm-hmm. And it feels so similar to so many other Sonic
it feels
games.
Exactly like Generations.
Yeah, I'm like...
Well, it predated Generations, and the last like big console one was Unleashed, so it's like Unleashed, but it doesn't have Werehog stages. So it got a huge buff from people because of that. Also, it was on a Nintendo platform, and like Sony people, not Sony people, but like Sega people somehow migrated to being Nintendo people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that definitely happened.
That did happen.
If you like any IP if you fanatically like any IP that's over 15 years old, you just became a Nintendo stan. I think that's what happened. Because every retro thing's just showing up there. It's really cool to be in this house streaming this big thing while staring at us in this house streaming the Sonic Colors.
Yes. I don't really see the appeal because of all the wisps and stuff, but I would like to finish this version at some point. I'm curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I enjoyed my time all right with it. I definitely wouldn't be like, oh, this is an amazing Sonic game. Like, it kind of just fits in with a lot of the other ones of that time, where I just feel like it could be better, and I wish it was, because Sonic goes beyond the individual games, and the appeal of it is so massive. That's why the movie did so well, and the games aren't doing as well as the movie. Like, that much is certainly true. It's not, nobody's coming out here and being like, Sonic Forces did 8 million sales. Sonic is a really powerful IP, and I'm glad they're capitalizing on it when it comes to animated material. You know, they did the Sonic Boom cartoon.
Right.
And then they're doing the new Netflix one, which, not to spoil news, but it's gonna have Shadow the Hedgehog.
What? No
Yo.
way.
That's all we know.
Okay.
I think there's a world where, and we talk about this a lot during that Giving Games a Chance live for Sonic Colors Ultimate. There's a world where it absolutely makes sense for them to do spin-offs.
Yeah.
Like, they have a rich cast of characters, and they're all very different from Sonic. Like, give them their own game.
Like where is Big Bass Fishing Rodeo?
Right?
I don't know, man.
Well, sadly, 10 years of internet content was about complaining about all those side characters, so we can't ever see them again.
See, that's the real we listened to focus tests and decided half of our cast should die moment. Because here's the thing. I think based on people I've met throughout my life, there is probably an equal size market, if not larger, for a really good Chow game than there is for Sonic Frontiers. Because people love the Chow raising stuff, and they haven't done anything with it in 20 years. It's insane. And you know, as a Tales Adventure fan, I'm still bitter. I don't need to explain that any further.
Yes.
But yeah, aside from that, I'm done talking about Sonic. I'm done talking about Sonic Ultimate. I mentioned Shadow was in that anime series, so we basically talked about everything in the Sonic Central 22.
Yeah, that's right. Pick up your Knuckles G Fuel.
Ooh, that wasn't even new. That was in April.
Gotta get my nuts.
So bad. But Bob, I'm sure you played other games.
Yes, I was able to play a few other things, not much.
Games that might have voices such as Cat from Cat Dog and Tom Kenny from Mr. Show.
I forgot that I actually played that, yeah.
Yeah.
I played the Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl.
That's cool. You got it on PlayStation Plus?
Yes.
I also played it a little bit.
Oh, cool. This is our unofficial Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl spoiler cast.
Yeah, I played through arcade mode once. That's good enough, right?
I played through arcade mode, half of arcade mode, and I wanted to do something else.
I did it once and change.
Okay.
Got a couple levels with a couple characters.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. We have 3 people who played it. Holy shit.
Yeah, that arcade mode, it takes too long to do each battle. Like, every battle lasts a little longer than I would like for it to actually go through.
Yeah.
I had kind of a 50-50 there. Either it would last forever, or I'd 3-hit someone off the edge of the stage.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, that happens too.
Yeah, I absolutely had that happen when he first got it. It's just like, well, that was quick. Weird.
Like, the AI doesn't seem to know how to deal with stuff like Poke Floats well, so they'll just, like, stand there and we'll beat those off the ledge. And I'm like, all right.
Bye. Yeah, one of the things is, like, it has voices now, but the lines don't seem very good. And I don't know if those were the lines that were originally there, which were just placeholder because they weren't going to get voices or what. But, like, I'm walking past, like, Bob's playing it over there, and I just hear Garfield say 300 times. He's like, I'm not always right except for when I am, or something like that. And I'm like, what is...
Yeah, they don't have phrases that connect to each other. They just seem to say a random thing at the beginning of the round.
Which, the funniest thing that came out of this was Bob's playing as Garfield, because of course. And he fights Oblina, and Oblina's quote just sounds like she's like, I escaped the 90s, thank Christ. Like, something about the tone in her voice. Something about that just absolutely floored me, where she was just so jazzed to be alive.
Right?
I mean, I ran through his Reptar, so all I got for half of that was...
Yeah,
Jeez.
that figures. How much do you...
Right, not even
Halt.
Halt, I am Reptar.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe that's the final cutscene. Maybe you beat the game and you get a really cool... Okay. I tried.
It might be fun to play together. I'm not sure. The whole thing, like we were saying before we started this part, it does feel like a little slipperier than I would like.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on this 3 attack button thing. Like, I'm not sure if they justify having that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I played a little bit as Power Toast Man as well,
Okay.
which that's fun because, you know, Power Toast Man.
Yeah, he's
He
Power
says
Toast.
the thing.
Yeah. But I really don't have much to say about it because we talked about it back when it first came out. Now, I didn't try the items. Did anyone else try the items?
No, they didn't really show up in arcade mode, so... No.
Yeah, I figured you'd have to turn them on somewhere and then they show up there.
Weird.
I don't know.
Okay.
It is weird they don't just auto show up there.
Yeah. It was fun turning the game on, you know, after they dropped all this content. It's like, here's the title screen. Okay, you hit X. You got a thing. Okay, press button through this. You got a thing.
Yep.
Press button through this. You got a thing. God damn it.
Yep.
Did anyone buy the robot girl?
No. It's
Okay.
like, oh, the fuck do you mean?
It's kind of fucked up. They presented it like I got her.
Yeah.
But then,
Yes.
but then you go into character fucking. It's like money, please.
Messed up.
Hmm.
No, yeah, the whole
Like,
game
even
just
Nintendo
turned off.
doesn't do that.
I think on that screen it looked a little different when I got to her unlocking, and there was like an extra button down there saying purchase,
Oh.
but I can't remember 100%.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. I remember being surprised when she was locked behind a paywall. I don't remember it being different at all.
Gotcha. Well, Bob,
Yeah,
you play anything?
I
else?
did play a few other things. I got to try Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. They put a demo out for that. I didn't.
Oh, nice.
I didn't expect them to do that, but it just dropped. It's actually at the beginning of the game. It transfers to the main game when
Nice.
you finish.
That's always cool.
Yeah, it's always nice. This is another Dynasty Warriors game on the Switch, which is a mistake.
Yeah,
the Switch cannot run
that's,
that.
That's what I hear.
That's the main reason I'm probably not going to pick it up. Just because I don't want it to run at 15 frames a second, please.
Yeah, you literally have your hit 3 light attacks and third like heavy attack thing makes your main character spin his swords in a circle and make a tornado that makes the whole game run at like 5 frames per second. I'm like, you should probably understand what you're working with and not give that to the main character.
Bob, don't limit their hopes and dreams.
I guess I shouldn't. You're right, Aggro.
Bob,
Yeah.
does the new main character's hair look less offensive in the actual game than in all the art?
No, it's that exact shade, which doesn't bother me, but I guess kills you.
It really does.
I don't know what it is. It just has such a terrible shade of purple.
Everything about this new main character has some serious I wrote my OC in energy to it. So you get an extra level that takes place before the first stage of real Three Houses, where you play as this mercenary band, and they run into the mercenary band that's the main character of the original Three Houses.
This is my new Marth. He's silver and has psychic powers.
You get in the fight with the original main character, who's now called the Ashen Demon.
Ooh.
And they're like super cool, hardcore, and own you and kill your entire mercenary squad.
Oh, man.
You know, of guys that were introduced in one cutscene and looked really generic, but then they still act like it's a big deal they died. Then
All life is sacred, Bob.
you get beat up and go Super Saiyan.
Yo.
God damn it.
Yeah. All of this kind of makes me think of Boruto. Because then you go inside your head and have an alien person who looks kind of like those weird things they introduced at the very end of Naruto, and apparently are a big part of Boruto. It's just like all white person with some weird robes.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who did not follow any of the end of Naruto, what?
Yes.
Yeah, they showed up after I dropped off, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's a thing.
Yeah.
The thing you need to remember about Boruto, Dan, is Boruto only exists because Naruto was so popular here.
Yeah.
It is driven by the anime and exists for us. That is our sin.
I did not know that about Boruto.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, you even like your Super Saiyan transformation looks kind of weirdly Naruto-esque in ways too.
I gotta go get a Diet Coke. Give me you continue.
And it's
All Bob's doing is getting me hyped.
it just reminds me of that moment when, because I tried watching the Boruto anime, I had some hope that I could continue into it, but they opened it with Boruto going some new kind of special eye mode that's only for him,
Oh, God.
and I'm like, okay, guys, I can't do this.
Yeah, no, I didn't even try. Like, I read like the one-shot manga they did and that movie they did.
Mhm.
And then just learned through osmosis everything that manga does. Like when Kishimoto's manga Samurai 8 got canceled because it was trash, he immediately said, "I'm now writing Boruto. I'm taking it away from them. I'm in control now."
I hope it
a
improved
mess.
after that, but who knows?
Apparently, no. Apparently, it got worse.
The only funny part of Boruto is that Boruto decides his teacher has to be Sasuke and starts learning electrical shit and using a katana like Sasuke. And I'm like, you have two dads. Like, Sakura's a beard. Everybody knows. Stop pretending.
God damn it.
With jutsu, all things are possible.
So that's weird. You finish that mission, and then you literally do the first mission from Three Houses, but now you're the mercenary that the Three House captains find. And you basically just go through the events of that.
Awesome.
It still has all the cool tactical stuff they add to Dynasty Warriors when they do Fire Emblem games like last time, so you can order your units around. It seems solid from that angle. I just wish it could run well, and I kind of don't like this OC. And
How dare you?
I assume the rest of it's going to go more and more like edgelord version, which it's for somebody.
Yeah.
I didn't even want any more Three Houses content. I'm pretty sure people who want Three House content probably didn't want to see the exact same story again from a different angle, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think if you shot it from the right angle, they would be pretty interested.
I follow a lot of artists who got real big into Three Houses, and they're all real happy this game exists, but they don't care about the story. They like, I like these three characters, and I'm going to get more stuff of these three characters, so the game's fine. It's a lot like a Persona spinoff in that way, where it's like nobody really gives a shit about the overarching story of Persona 4 Arena. They want to see Akihiko be like, "No, Chie, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you for that beef bowl because I need protein."
Yeah, I have to wonder like how different it'll end up being, because I mean they showed the post. They're gonna do a time skip just like Three Houses does.
Yeah, of course.
And all the designs are completely different.
Okay.
Like everyone has a different look. I can tell because some people are ranking which ones are good or bad based on the originals and stuff. So that has me somewhat interested in doing it, since I went through all the routes in that, except the one where they're like, do the same route again, but do something slightly different 70% of the way through.
Always the best route, right?
Yes, that route where most of its content is just from one of the other routes anyway.
the fact that Three Houses, the original, did not have a okay, you beat the game, you can skip the entire time skip part, because it's exactly the same no matter who you pick.
Yeah.
The fact they didn't have that is like, you guys are insane. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, a little kooky. I'm glad you had time to check it out.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to knock that out. See if it's something I'd be interested in, because I like Dynasty Warriors games a lot. Like that's one of my favorite series. I hope we get back to it being on platforms that can run it
one day.
Yeah, I wish we had some reassurance from the leaks about the Switch 2's hardware, that it's like, oh, and the CPU is like 4 times as powerful. I'll be like, hell yeah, let's go. I just want to run this game at 60. If it looks like a potato, whatever. Please. Did you play anything else that reminded you of Boruto?
No, luckily. Oh god, except for Naruto, Naruto Strikers. That reminded me of Boruto a few times.
You raised my hopes so high, right? And then dashed them.
I played that for, I think, 10 minutes and was like, wow, this does not seem good. And then I did something really stupid.
All right, what's that?
I clicked on the double discounts part of the PS Plus tab to see the double discounts, and I'm like, wow, the first 3 Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games for $18.
Yeah.
And then I booted one of them, and I'm like, oh, these run at 30 frames a second.
Oh no.
That's unfortunate.
I forgot.
Damn. If they left that shit uncapped, then this gen it would have been 60. That would have been nice. Damn. So Bob, how long do you think you played
Digital
that?
Foundry.
They invented frame rate capping. They probably led to an atmosphere where it's like, well, gotta cap it or those guys will complain.
Right.
But, yeah, how long do you think you played that?
That was probably like 20 minutes or so.
Okay, so twice as long as Feel. Good job.
Yeah, I was going back and forth. I played the tutorial stuff, and then I remembered, right, this game doesn't have a story mode. It is only for doing this online battling stuff, and it's like, I don't care.
Because I opened it up and I'm like, which Naruto game is this? Is this one good? I don't know. And then up in the corner it said, you have a friend who plays this game. It's Bob Video Games. I'm like, oh, well, this must be one of the good ones. Add to library.
No! Let me just put that Scarlet letter on me. There we go. Scarlet Nexus on me.
No!
I think the way it plays is super interesting, and they should have had them make a action game in the Naruto universe. That would have been fun and cool. Because this is the same team that put together that Samurai Jack game. They're pretty solid. I think the actual feel, the combat's fine. It's just that they don't do anything I would ever want to do with it. It has some neat like movement stuff too. Like you can show out a shuriken and has a wire on it, and you pull yourself to that. You can actually aim it to anywhere in the level. You have like a ninja super jump that you can aim. It's got neat stuff. It's just like you put it in a capture the flag game instead of something I want to play.
It's like if Bob just went, well, this is like one of those Dragon Ball Z games that's kind of like Budokai, right? And then he plays it and it turns out to be that like survival horror one where it's the asymmetric multiplayer, and Bob's like, wait, what? Why is all this neat stuff in this game? The fucking game is awful.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
I miss when those Naruto games were like not just fighting games, and they were like doing other stuff or like multiplayer stuff. Like the PS2 and like 360 had some stuff that just didn't morph into arena fighters all the time.
Yeah, 360 ones were pretty neat. I don't know.
Like Ubisoft like put out 2 of them where it was like a hybrid where it went into a 2D fighting thing, but most of the game was like platforming and exploring, and I'm like, I would like more anime licensed things that are doing that.
You know, I used to think I wanted something to take me through the whole story of Naruto, but recent revelations.
Oh no, it's really funny. You should.
I still think that the twist is fine for Naruto.
Yes, it's introducing 18 of them to be the new antagonist squad in Boruto, where shit flies off the rails.
It's like, imagine they do something a little bit at the end of a story, and then they're like, the sequel, that's all it is. You have to eat all these eggs. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking do it. They're rotted already.
Okay, Dan, you know the end of Final Fantasy IX?
Yes.
When Necron is like, hello, I represent the inevitability of death.
Somebody called me on the cuck phone.
Now imagine if they made Final Fantasy IX 2 and they go, he was part of an alien race and there's like 50 of those guys.
Yeah, that's the part where it really just like, no.
Because the Necron alien race is when you have to add fucking Vin Diesel to your party, and I don't want to do that.
I do want to do that because him and Steiner are the ultimate team.
Oh no!
Did you have anything more you want to say about Naruto, Boruto Strikers or Shinobi Strikers feel?
That character creator is way worse than it should be for a game that's a tie into an anime thing.
Yep.
Choose your flavor of Kakashi.
And they make you do that up front. Like, you don't get to figure out what the game even is before it's just like character creator.
Yeah, that's always depressing.
If you're gonna do it, like if you're doing an anime thing with a character creator, it's a good idea to have a lot of hairstyles of characters from the anime in there. It's not a good idea to only have those.
Yeah, they are all just straight characters.
I don't know. I mean, that sounds like right where the Naruto fan base is. This is my OC. Do not steal.
Hinata with Sakura's hair.
Yeah, I think I just ended up being Madara. Like directly. I think I am white hair instead.
Cool.
You know, sure, that's cool.
What are you playing, Naruto game? Who is that? It's with red hair. I will not be taking questions.
I will not be taking.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Okay.
The only other thing I played,
Sure.
for real this time,
Yeah.
Diablo Immortal PC version.
And in what way did that remind you of Boruto?
It didn't.
Oh,
Wait. Let me see.
I knew it.
There is.
It's in there.
There is an anime beam battle,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't quite cross over into directly making me think about Boruto.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
you barely avoided the crisis.
Leoric, the Skeleton King, is in this game again because they,
Okay, Leoric's cool.
yeah, they have to. They
Th-
can't
th-
resist.
That means this dude, how many times has he shown up to get his ass kicked?
I think this is 3 times in a row or
Yeah,
something.
I guess that would be 3 times in a few years. And he's
Wow.
like, I'm Leoric, the Skeleton King. Please don't kick my ass.
Did you
and kick my
Stay a while and kick my ass.
did you end up spending $100,000 to max out one character?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
So you're a fake gamer, is what I'm hearing.
Let me check the punch-in cam.
Yeah.
Nope, he's a real human being.
Okay.
Good
woo.
job,
Oh,
Bob.
baby.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the microtransaction stuff to really comment on it. I haven't touched it at all. I have not played this game more than a few hours. I think a lot of that stuff is really needs to be viewed in the lens of what's actually locking the content.
Right.
If there's nothing locking the content, you can keep playing at whatever level you get to normally, and you don't need to psychotically dump money into it. Then it's like whatever. Like
I think this doesn't this have PvP?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
I have no idea. All I know is
Oh yeah, it
get-
does. Ooh.
people get really hypersensitive about anything with microtransactions at all, to the point where 10 million people who didn't play Gran Turismo 7 are like, oh, it's terrible, the monetization. I'm like, I have millions in the bank and I'm just playing the races. This is driving me insane as you guys talk about this thing that is not the case at all when you actually play it. And every single one of them's like, yeah, I haven't played it at all. Then Sony gave me a $10 million loan because they all complained. And I'm like, but I want to replay a race ever to get money. So because of that and Genshin, which Genshin, Bob, and Phil both play an insane amount without really putting that much money in, I don't trust fucking anyone on the internet when they're like, oh, these microtransactions are busted. Because for all I know, all it would affect is my former coworker whose 2 hobbies were being an alcoholic and running Diablo 3 all the way up the entire season. Because it might be limited to that play, but I don't know. And I
Right.
don't trust anyone because of these other situations.
Right. It's one of those things where I'd have to put in a lot of time myself to really understand exactly what's going on.
Right. As I understand, like, what people were saying is it is a lot of Top Gear shit, a lot of end game shit, and stupid cosmetics that don't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah. There's like alleged stuff of there being like hidden caps and stuff to prevent grinding for free, but it's I don't feel like there's been enough time for people to like really drill in whether it's this toxic thing where if you just wanted to play for free as much as you want, whether or not your experience will be ruined or not. I feel like it might be too early.
Okay. Yeah. I need to sit it out and watch as more people more thoroughly do like full dissections and explain this in a way that's cogent,
Right.
because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Maybe if this didn't happen 3 months after the GT7 thing, where I'm like, I'm going insane in a world where a number of people who've never touched this game are making YouTube videos about how the monetization is bad in a game they don't understand, where I'm sitting here and I have too much money. Like, absolutely fucking...
Yeah. It's just that thing of like, all these articles started coming out like 2 or 3 days after launch of the game. And it's like, I don't know if you guys have had time to really...
You expect me
into
to
this?
trust a game journalist to know what's in a game?
Right?
Like, you really... But yeah, anyway, I'm completely
it
open to
came
I
out
mean, they're
that there
Activision Blizzard,
Yeah,
right?
no, it's
so
obvious.
I
It's a red
completely
flag.
trust that the thing's fucked. I'm just explaining the shitty situation I'm in.
Yeah, like I'm looking at these hidden caps and they are evil. It's
Okay.
like, if you get 6 legendary drops in a day, the drop rate collapses and nothing tells you this. Side quests stop giving rewards after 5 a day. Purple bosses stop giving rewards after 5 a day. Random map events stop giving rewards after 5 per day. Nothing tells you this, and none of these apply to like the things you can pay to go into. Because there's like, pay this much to go into this special grinding area, and then those don't have those kind of limits on them.
Okay.
Yeah, if
So
there
it
was
seems- it
visibility
seems
on
like-
that stuff, that'd be fine. But if
Yeah,
where there's
'cause
not...
it seems like they decided to have an energy system, but not show you it.
Right. I was going to say
Right.
that sounds a lot like an energy system.
Mm-hmm.
but it's a hidden one.
What drives, like, why did they make Diablo Immortal, which isn't even an original game, by the way? It's a reskin of a Japanese game. We found that out almost immediately after they announced it. That the not a Japanese game, but a Chinese game.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they just fucking port Diablo 3 to phones?
That's not exciting. Like that, there's no reason to do that. Like this gets a ton of people in that has monetization stuff.
I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day,
yeah,
there's that angle of it, but it absolutely is. Blizzard looked at all the people who are running the end of Diablo 3 every time for every season, and they go, we're not making money on that.
Yeah.
That seems wrong.
Right.
It's like, no, it doesn't, because they bought your fucking game!
Yes.
This isn't complicated!
But Dan, we're losing millions every year from people not giving us money.
I have been theoretically robbed 10 times this week.
Right.
It is fucked up how much devs go, but they're enjoying our game for so long. Isn't that illegal?
The police kicked down your door.
Give it like 6 years.
First time I'm getting swatted by a developer. But yeah, that sucks. That sucks that they just they put systems in there to limit that. If there was more visibility, then I would find it defensible because, of course.
Yeah, that's how these things work, because you have to have some way for it to drain money out of you because it's free.
Right. But also adding visibility so that way isn't some mysterious, and then the game just told me to fuck off for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. It needs that.
Right. That's perfectly fine and defensible for something that's free.
But as far as like what I actually experienced is of the esoteric question that is.
Yeah, sorry.
that.
Really got off in the weeds.
I played it on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, they have a PC control scheme that makes it play like Diablo, where you actually click where you want to go and stuff. Because everything on the phone version and the iPad version is purely virtual joysticks. Yeah. Which works. I think it's more designed around that than it is playing like a typical Diablo game, because there's a bunch of moves that work kind of touch based, where you like, okay, I select this move and I drag it over here, which works as a mouse and keyboard thing, but maybe not as well. Also, having an actual analog stick to control your character so you can move and not click around and accidentally start attacking.
Yeah,
which I'm pretty sure there's a feature like other ones where you hold a button and they will walk instead.
I think it's shift, but I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Right. It's neat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still surprised that it has this much more story, because it still is filling out that timeline between 2 and 3.
That's incredibly frustrating for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I also tried it on my phone a little bit, which most of the time worked okay, burnt my battery super fast, but then half the time I tried to boot it, it just crashed on boot.
What is your phone? Do you remember?
It's an iPhone 8, I think regular.
You still have your iPhone 8 regular?
I'm pretty sure. It might be the S.
That's kind of surprising. Yeah, I think if you do the system settings and then about, it should yell at you what your phone is. I thought you upgraded to an SE at some point.
No, I'm not on the SE. I know that. It's
okay. All right.
It's just a regular 8, yeah.
Wow.
So it's not a great phone.
Yeah, and your battery's probably taken a beating over the last 5, 6 years, 4 years, or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it crashing on boot's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, wow. And your character transfers between all of it easily, which is always important.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, luckily it all is linked to the Battle.net, and all of it just immediately you have that content.
And it's pretty cool. They have a free-to-play game that you could play on your phone and tablet and even a PC-like thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's like a computer.
I'm really happy for you as a Pokemon fan. I'm so fucking happy that you get to play that shit on a PC properly. But Dan, you get the Switch. Fuck off.
Just get the Switch too.
It would be great if the Switch 2 was like, yeah, I run Pokemon Unite perfectly. I'd fucking Joker dance. Anyway. But yeah, so are you going to invest more time in that game?
I don't know. I'm still like...
Shit.
Yeah, it's still Diablo 3 core, which makes me less interested.
Yeah, we're both more fans of 2 than 3 by a sizable margin.
Yeah, I might try out some of the other characters that has been rocking the monk, see all the different abilities he gets, which there's a bunch of cool different moves I've gotten so far. Seems a lot more interesting than the monk was in 3. because I get like this giant Hadoken that gathers all the enemies up and then explodes at the end.
Nice.
And I got this teleport thing where I do a dash forward and I leave an after image, and then all the after images suck into you and it drags in anyone who gets hit by them.
Cool.
And I was like, this is cool stuff.
That's cool.
But that's all I played.
Okay. Aggro?
And except for the stuff I mentioned earlier, I have done the flip flop of what Phil has done, and I put a shit ton of hours into Forbidden West up front. So now I've finally gotten around to Elden Ring.
Okay.
So I get to play Elden Ring, but every now and then go, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Google. Oh, that's how that stat works. Okay.
The classic Souls experience.
So wait, you did beat Forbidden West.
Yes.
And now Phil has also beaten Forbidden West. Is that right?
Yeah, I beat it.
Okay, so Casey's the only one who hasn't beaten it. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
so
just
we can't
checking.
spoil it.
I'm just checking.
Mhm.
So you're enjoying Elden Ring?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the game is amazing. Everybody's talked about it. You guys talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
The last time I played it, I hit one of those classic FromSoft spirals where I died twice to something and went, oh, I'll go do something else. And then I died to that. And I'm like, I'll go do this thing I know I can do. And then I died doing that. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to put the game down now because damn it.
Damn it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the mode you can get into.
Uh-huh. I've been playing Strength Faith because I like being strong and also lightning and madness.
That's some good stuff. There's some good stuff in there.
I've really enjoyed, like a lot of people complained early on about the PvP balance, where you only get invaded if you're cooperating. I've loved it because I don't get bothered by like scrubs invading me. Now I know if I'm getting invaded, I'm getting invaded by a higher tier of invader who's here to fight two people.
Yes.
So sometimes me and Eric will just get washed. We're like, hi, I'm your invader today. I'm way over here. Where'd all that bleed damage come from? I don't know. Bye. And sometimes they'll run straight at Eric and I'll hit him with that frenzy AoE attack and they'll die.
Cool. Sometimes.
Is there co-op damage? Like, can you hurt Eric when you're doing that?
I don't
Friendly fire.
Yeah,
seem
friendly
to,
fire.
No.
Okay.
Okay,
Which
that's
is-
good.
I'm like,
Because a lot of the weapons in that are, here's a wall of fire.
yeah, no, I don't seem to hurt him. He hasn't complained about having been hurt the entire time we've been doing it.
So you would think if it was happening.
Like I did an event where I went to go help that samurai guy who wants bloody fingers fight a bloody finger, and I'm like, I think I'm not hurting him, but I'm flashing back to Bloodborne where you could totally kill Eileen the Crow yourself. So I'm like, giant hammer swing, giant hammer swing. But yeah, it's Elden Ring. It's amazing.
Okay. Anything else?
No, not really.
We're gonna hand
It's
it
Elden
to
Ring.
we're gonna hand it to KZ. KZ.
All right. So last week, after conquering the first 3 Crash games, I decided to go into Crash 4. It's about time to check that out because I missed out on that when it first came out. That game is incredibly solid. It immediately just being able to control a 3D platformer that was made recently was really nice. They combine some of your move sets pretty well. Like I like that you can now do a slide and immediately into a spin to like build speed and stuff. I felt like I didn't run into any of the problems the first 3 games had where I was confused as to how I died or how I should properly platform, because they give you the option to have that outline when you jump so you know where
Yes.
you're going to land at all. And you have infinite lives as an option, and they replace all the 1-up boxes with these Wumpa fruit boxes that give you like 25 in one.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. I liked all the different characters you could play as. I feel like I enjoyed all of them to a degree.
Mhm.
And the worlds were pretty inventive. I feel like there was significantly less. You're going to get on an animal, and it's going to be incredibly hard for the next like 5 or 6 minutes. I feel like whenever we got those, they were pretty well designed and like enjoyable. I liked the bosses quite a bit. And then we like solved all the problems. It felt great, and I was like, this is nearing a 9. Then there are 2 more worlds left. and then the game became unreasonable, where the difficulty slowly started morphing into, we're going to make you play as 2 characters in 1 level. So half of it, you're playing as Dingo Dial with his vacuum. And then you're going to play as your main character. And some of these levels are like, there are 480 boxes.
Yeah.
Or there's one where they go, there's 210 boxes. And at the very end, you hit that thing that blows up all the nitro ones. And it's like, that was 110 nitro boxes.
Yes.
Where the rate just becomes absurd. And toward the very end, I started despising this game. They went way too hard on trying to make it difficult because you have an infinite life mode now. Because in the game you pick up these special like masks that give you different powers now. Like one of them's just voiced by Richard Horvitz, just doing Zim.
Yes.
And there's like one that like when you press the button, it makes certain platforms appear or disappear. So you kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
You have one where you do like a super spin that you can like glide. One that makes gravity change, so you're going up instead of down, and one that slows down time. The final normal level of the game is an intense, feels like almost pixel perfect platforming segment where in the air you pick up a new mask and then you have to immediately activate it and perform a thing to make it to the other side to get to the next mask. They make you cycle through all 4 masks twice on 1 checkpoint. I think I teared up when I finished. Like, it genuinely drained me, and I felt dread going through it. It was so rough.
The Crash franchise is just like kicking you in the nuts, and then they go, would you like this cup? And you're like, yes, thank you. And then you put on the cup, and then they pull out a drill. You're like, oh, no.
This was way harder than any of the other ones they made before. It felt like it had more in common with Super Mario World ROM hacks and I Want to Be the Guy at the end than a normal, sober platformer. And then I fight the final boss, and it's really delightful and fun. And I'm like, come on, guys, what are you doing?
This was a nice send-off for the franchise. Here's number 4. We're going to destroy your balls.
The last 15% of something being unreasonably difficult seems to be a real fucking problem in these Western 3D platformers. Where it's like they can be completely normal up until then, but then they're like, no, we have to be hard at the end, and we don't know how to do that without just being unreasonable.
Gex 2 was an experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely did feel when I was going through Crash 2 and 3 that Crash 3 is like Gex 3, where it's like, you nailed it this time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm on fire. This was just like, thank God if you die enough. They're like, okay, we're gonna change one of these boxes to be a checkpoint early. Because for a large part of the game, the checkpoints are regular, and later in the game they become more spread out. So it just becomes this thing of those sections genuinely start becoming a bit longer. Overall, I feel like most of the game is like a 9 and like really solid, really enjoyable if you ignore trying to collect everything because they genuinely wanted to make people angry. But that last world in particular is just way too much. It's like dialed up to a degree where I'm like, this is more cruel than Jack 2. Like, what are you doing?
That's a high bar.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds unreasonable.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm like,
is there a level where you spawn into 12 guys are pointing shotguns at you?
I feel like that platforming challenge gave me the same vibes of trying to get through that one sector in Crash 2 where it's like...
Yeah, the docks.
Get through the dock area. That's the kind of vibe I felt where I'm like, what are you doing?
We call this Crash Bandicoot therapy.
Yeah, goddamn. The story and all the cutscenes were really funny, and I did enjoy the ending where I'm like, well, if you're not going to make any more of these, this is a fairly enjoyable like ending or whatever. But yeah, I sure wish I came out of one of these going, I liked every part of this, or at least enjoyed every part of this. Aside from that, I did a death stream of all 3 Donkey Kong Country games. Because I'm like, oh, Crash is clearly cribbing from these, so I might as well just do it, and I can't do a lot of maybe I'll like this death streams in a row or it'll hurt me in an irreparable way. So I did that. I ended up 100%ing 2, which was fun to try and go through that and try and remember everything. And I started playing some Monster Hunter Rise on PC to prep for Sunbreak that's coming out at the end of the month.
Oh,
the
shit.
massive expansion. Yeah,
That is
alongside every other video game, it feels like.
You're gonna
that's
get
great.
all the way through it on PC, and then they're gonna be like, coming to PS5.
Oh,
Save transfers do not
I'll
work.
be like, go to hell! I'm waiting for the real Monster Hunter PS5 game with all the trims, because this is still like a Switch game that cleans up nice. Where it's like at 60, I'm running it at like 1440p, and like the loads are like pathetic. It's super fast, but I'm just burning through that because I'm excited to take on Sunbreak. I liked it my first stream where we did it. Of course, we're getting a group together to play. An hour in, Steam goes down.
What?
Steam literally just went down for 20 minutes.
Damn.
Perfect.
It was really
Weird.
funny because half the people couldn't connect still because I'm like, I guess the southeast, like the East Coast has it, but the other parts of the country aren't back on yet.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, at first I thought it was the game, but it was like, no, it's just Steam entirely in the middle of the afternoon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, that's still really, really good. I like a lot of things that Rise does compared to, say, World, where you have like the grappling hook system using bugs, so it's really easy to traverse or get out of the way of attacks. And we're in that new era of Monster Hunter where they actually wanted to make the hitboxes make sense.
Mhm.
So when I get hit, it doesn't feel like I just got hit by an invisible object, like it's Dark Souls 2. But yeah, that's about it. I've just been chewing through that, but that's all I've had time to play.
Okay. Feel?
I finished Horizon Forbidden West.
Would you like to talk about it?
Sure, I'll talk about it some. First, I'll talk about the stuff that was good.
Okay.
It feels a lot better than the first game because it runs at 60 frames a second if you're playing on performance mode.
Woo.
It looks unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that has made looking at other games hard. That game is so unreal. I'm like, this can't exist. You know that, right?
If you liked the first game, they added a bunch more stuff to the combat that makes it better. Having weapon arts, like a thing where you can do a certain thing with a weapon that's different, in exchange for stamina and a certain amount of your ammo, is good. The Valor Surge system is neat. There's many more biomes than were in the first game. I still really hate the loot system because it has that bad MMO loot where it's like plus 3% to this.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like large upgrades to stuff.
Since KZ intends to play it, I can't talk about it too much extensively unless he takes his headphones off.
Okay, sure. They're off.
Sure, I'll send you a message when I'm done. Your fucking story for the middle of your 3-game epic trilogy should not be an anime filler arc.
I thought that it was really cool and had interesting ideas. And then they went, what if everything went back? I'm like, come on, no!
What if we told you all these cool things that could set up for something cool and systematically destroyed them all in the last 30 minutes of the game?
Yeah.
Remember all that setup we did for the universe and for future stories?
Yeah.
What if fuck all that?
Yeah, that
Yes.
was so frustrating.
Yes.
I was so upset. Me and Bob, you can go watch that live stream and we're just being destroyed emotionally as it's like, look at this cool wardrobe of awesome. Tosses it off of a cliff.
I'm trying
Yeah.
like, and the reveal of the setup for the third game is like, why did you end your game with like Broly flying towards the planet?
And it's like, you realize the oncoming threat is infinitely less interesting than the entire cast you just threw away.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
what if villain of first game but larger,
Mm-hmm.
but Super Saiyan?
Yeah, and that's terrible and stupid.
Like, what is it? What is that whole fucking thing even like? Well, now we've got this giant robot nano factory at our disposal. Time to space battle with like. How the fuck do you make another Horizon game out of this setup? Like,
I don't know.
Well, you
like,
just
like the
hang out
game
on the planet.
opens.
1,000
only-
years in the future.
The only
that'd
thing
be
that I think
hilarious.
would be cool is, unless they're really fucking pathetic and cowardly, this thing is going to take like 15 years to get to the planet, or at least like 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see why it should have like faster than light capabilities when the fucking colonists didn't.
Right.
And they got Apollo back, the collection of all human knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're like Horizon 3 technology, like these societies have advanced 300 years in the span of like 7 years because
I
now
bet-
people have
mhm.
Apollo. That would be interesting enough to bring me back in, even with how miserable the story of this one was.
I better have a fucking orbital frame when that game opens. If this is what you did to the ending of 2, I want mech fights in 3.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like legitimately the only way forward that is interesting is to completely change what the gameplay is, and that is the like because 2 is so much like 1.
Right.
I'm not confident that they're going to do that at all, and I'm like, so you threw away this thing that could have still been that you could have found a way to have a continuing narrative where the gameplay is sort of similar to this, but maybe on a different planet and all these different things. And instead, you made this situation where the only way forward that's cool involves drastically changing the gameplay, and I just cannot see them doing that.
Yeah, it's like, what is this going to be about? Aloy uniting the tribes with her fucking bow to fight the cyber demon that's coming from another planet?
Space
there are no
locusts.
more problems on the planet.
right.
There can't be because we have Gaia, we've got all the modules, we've got this giant factory. All of your problems are solved now
Yeah.
until the thing shows up.
Yeah.
At which point you just point the space laser at it.
Fire the just in case laser.
Yeah, and not just that, but like, I don't think the Far Zenith guys, except for Carrie Ann Moss, Tilda,
Mhm.
have any presence at all. Like, you have Gerard, who is the shittiest attempt at an antagonist maybe ever, who he's just like a bald guy who is vaguely evil.
He is in fact
And-
a bald guy that's vaguely evil. Yes.
And you have Murder Man, whose character trait is that he is large and violent.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really,
And-
really stock. Other than Kiryu Minas.
Yeah.
And frankly, Varl didn't deserve what they did to him.
Nope.
No, he didn't at all.
This is something that Wooly Versus said once. I forget when. I think they were playing Marlo Briggs and the Mask of Death. I think
He's
he
making
said it
up
when they
shit.
were playing
That's
that.
not a game.
But he said it's cool. It's always cool when you get a black protagonist because in games the black character usually dies to stop the third to last boss.
Mm-hmm.
And this didn't even raise to that level.
Yeah.
It was fucking cheap.
And it was for nothing. Like, if you're gonna kill a character, why just have it be completely for nothing?
Well, it was a cheap play at emotional hook for it.
And
It
then
didn't
the
feel earned.
resolution, and then like Aloy, a thing this game does, and I kind of appreciate it, but I kind of don't think they do it very well, which is they try to go, oh, well, Elizabeth Sobek had autism, so obviously Beta and Aloy also do. Because Beta even does like the Rain Man thing a couple times, where she's like rocking back and forth and talking to herself.
Well, she's deeply traumatized as they basically hit her in a cage for the entire ride back to Earth.
But all the Elizabeth stuff is like, oh, she didn't open up to people. Oh, she was like weird in this way or that way. So, and then like Aloy has trouble emoting sometimes.
Nah,
So
I
I get
figured
why
that was
they
an
couldn't-
animation problem.
I get why they couldn't have Aloy be like screaming revenge at Murder Man, but having Zoe, the love interest for Varl, just walk up from behind him and stab him after that boss fight was like, I don't really feel any emotion about any of this. I'm kind of just upset you killed that character for no reason in such a pathetic way.
At that moment, I was still just mad at that boss fight, so the whole moment just kind of washed over.
We'll see. I said that after I completed everything up until getting the first of the 3 functions that when it's like, okay, you need to get these 3 things.
Uh-huh.
I got the first one, and then I'm like, I'm tired of playing this on normal. I'm going to easy.
That's fair.
That's ironic because it's about that point in the game where if you've been doing everything, you level past everything and it goes to easy anyway.
Because I tried that fight against the Mastodon like 6 times, and I'm like, oh, this is rough. Let's go to easy and see how that works. It's all like this game really fumbles like every emotional ball it has. Like the shit at the end with Tilda trying to get Aloy onto the ship.
Yeah, that was done so badly.
And you fight her in the big robot, the Sentinel Prime. And you beat it, and she's just like dead completely without any gravitas at all. Like it just explodes, it falls over, and you see her arm coming out of it, and Aloy doesn't even say anything.
Yeah, it feels.
See, I always loved Aloy being completely emotionally disconnected from everything happening around her because I attended a small private school growing up.
This is an opener.
So I know what growing up in a deeply religious community that shuns you and being a redhead is like. So it's like, Aloy's unlikable. I'm like, Aloy is 100% a product of her upbringing and environment. She's spot on.
I didn't think Aloy was unlikable in 1, but in this game, she just feels so indignant towards everyone, including people polite and trying to help her.
Mm-hmm.
Like she just comes off as unbelievably fed up with everyone in a way that doesn't really make sense to me.
Okay.
I also kind of think all of the tribes in the first game, like the Oseram, who are great because they're just dwarfs. You can't fuck up dwarfs. The Karja and the Nora are all pretty good. In this one, it feels like a lot of them are like, we found the ancestors and this one thing of theirs we now worship. Because that's what the Tanaka are.
Mm.
And that's what the Quinn are. And honestly, it reminded me of a less funny and enjoyable version of Fallout New Vegas. Because in Fallout New Vegas, when you get to New Vegas, you have to deal with a gang called the Kings. And the Kings found a bunch of Elvis movies and decided Elvis was the coolest motherfucker in the entire world. So everyone in their gang is Elvis.
Nice.
That's amazing.
So it kind of felt like that, but not as fun. I did like the guy who was like, no, I'm Ted Faro. Because at least that one has the implication that Ted Faro engineered this.
Yeah, I enjoyed Piece of Shipman, who is like, no, I am Ted Faro. I have his soul in me. I carry him forward into the future.
I think there was a lot of neat stuff in that, but then they fumbled it so hard at the end of that arc.
Well, they pulled the punch.
That ending was,
Yeah, it was
why
like,
didn't I get to see the body horror?
Yeah.
That pissed me off.
yeah, it's like, if you can't show that, don't do this entire arc.
Right?
Like that's the whole point.
I don't want to run over lava. I want to hear Ted Faro screaming.
Right. Yeah.
Also, it feels like that we should have done that before we found out who the Far Zenith people were. It's like, oh, Ted Faro wanted immortality. What if somebody did that right and didn't become a big goo monster that we don't fucking see? That somehow that feeds on thermal energy?
The thermal energy was powering the thing that kept him alive, is what I thought. It's been
maybe
a while.
One of the data points is like, but also I absorb it.
I don't know. I kept thinking like, maybe he's Hexus now. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it was another moment of this could have been great.
Yeah, that honestly could have been its own game if they played it right, in my opinion. Like, that was such a cool and important moment, and they just pulled the punch so hard, it soured it. It's a shame. I think that was one of the highlights of the game until that moment.
I think it was halfway through the second half of the game when I realized, like, why don't the Quinn feel right? Oh, because they should have guns. Like, this should be the point in the game.
With a lot of this.
Uh-huh.
Where like, because even the Osaram had guns in the first one. Like they had cannons that they made. They had like some characters had like cannon like, but they figured that out without having focuses and having all this shit. So the Quinn are like, oh, these people are barbarians. Why don't the Quinn have like the Horizon version of like muskets?
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing where I'm like, no, that needs to be where it goes now that they have Apollo, because there's no reason that Aloy should be walking into fighting this fucking super AI Broly thing with a bow.
No, we need the bow. It's iconic.
I can accept the bow if it's like a laser bow. If she has like fucking Ishida's Quincy bow now.
Right? Like, I mean, I always want to have the bow as a stealth option and like a very payload deliverer, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of the lore getting. 2 did not feel planned out from after 1. And some things got away from them.
Like a lot of parts in like the last 2 hours reminded me of Dragon Age 2. The plot dump brunch was a very Dragon Age 2 scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing with the leader of the rebels, where it's like, do we kill her or let her live? And if you let her live, she dies 15 minutes later anyway in a cutscene.
Oh yeah, that was like the point of that.
That was another thing that really reminded me of Dragon Age 2.
She was my favorite character for like the 20 minutes she was alive. You could talk to her like, what do you think about all this? Do I get to die fighting space wizards or what? Okay, I'll leave you alone now.
Also, there really was not enough Lance Reddick in this game. Like there was a sad lack of Lance Reddick because he's my favorite Horizon character. Because I like that part where Aloy's like, no, Ted Farr became a big body horror monster, and Silence is like, he destroyed all human progress. That's the least of what he deserves.
When she confronts him like, oh, you're like, I have plans within plans. You wouldn't understand, Aloy. And it all comes down to the simple moment of he's like, yeah, I didn't tell you what I was doing because you wouldn't let me kill all the Tanakh.
And yeah, people warned me like, oh, they ruined Silence, and I'm like, no, he was fine.
Yeah, no, Silence was great.
No, he was fine. Yeah, I can't understand saying they ruined him. That's bizarre.
Like, is there anything left? Because it's mostly that ending that's just like everything with the. Also, I feel like this game barely has a story, because up until the part near the end, like when the Far Zenith guys show up, like when you get captured by Tilda, it feels like most of the plot is resolved via Star Trek-esque technobabble. I got that really hard when Aloy and Beta were talking about setting up the thing to capture Hephaestus, where it's like, but if 2 of us are doing it at the same time with the Omega clearance, and it can take it from 36 hours down to 4.5 hours, and I'm like
putting too much air in a balloon.
Yeah, did I end up except that was original series Star Trek, which was always simple. This was like Voyager.
Yeah, this was straight up Voyager shit. It was
Yeah, the big problem is it just introduced all these things that could have been really interesting and could have led to like, why did you kill every single one of the Far Horizon guys? They showed us a group of them, and then like 5 minutes later it was like, they all died off screen.
Yeah, that was terrible.
It feels awful.
Horrible.
And then Tilda's like, oh, I have this giant mech, Aloy. Why do we only have one of these when we have 3D printers that make anything instantly with nanomachines?
Yeah,
because they had the shields before, I guess.
Also, that's another thing. Like, I guess the thing Silence makes destroys the shields forever?
Right.
It's like there's no Halo recharge on this?
No.
And I lost my train of thought.
Okay.
So did they.
Oh yeah. Fuck Tilda, by the way. Fuck her. Like, not just because she's evil and all of this was just a plan to get a perfect clone of the woman she simped for, and who it's really implied didn't like her at all.
Yep.
But then there's that part where she's like, everybody else just wanted to use their immortality to enjoy themselves instead of what did you what? So they didn't want to look at your boring Dutch paintings?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that was another Dragon Age 2 thing where it's like, you're pretentious and stupid. I can only handle one of those at a time. Thank you.
You're right.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, the silver lining here is I have no idea what the fuck 3 is going to be. So I'm looking forward to if it's
really
going down or like, how did they land this?
I just need to not think about 3 until they literally show me what it is, because if I have any expectations at all, it'll feel like crashing my car into a wall.
Right.
As they go, it's nothing like that.
I do wonder if they're going to do another DLC, because the last DLC was about Hephaestus.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if you're just going to do that again and be like, no, this time you actually capture him. I'm sorry you didn't do that during the game.
Ah, God. If
He's
you did-
merged with the burned remnants of Ted Faro. It's amazing.
You know what? If the fact they kept him alive for no reason, just to have I don't even know why that was there other than to set off everything exploding.
Yes.
If they at least I would be like, okay, you did anything with that at all. They gave me nothing with the Ted Faro angle. They didn't even let me see him. I really like the spike thrower. That's a good weapon that they introduced.
It is.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I liked throwing the explosive spike into something's face. And because I was playing on easy, I would do the Valor Surge that made 4 of your arrows do double damage, and you didn't use ammo. And then I just switched to the high power long range bow.
Oh yeah.
And I shot Murder Man, and a third of his health vanished.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I don't even know if he had attacks.
He did. They were weird.
Yeah, I know we fought him a few times. I'm trying to remember how well that went, but
Yeah, I mean
there were so many things to be upset with that ended going on that was hard to even think about how the battle went.
I would have liked to have a button to quick swap equipment sets when I wasn't in combat. Because I feel like because there's so many more machines now than the first game. And they have a lot of different weaknesses, and there's a lot of different ammo types this time.
Yeah, the weird spread of ammo types in this game was odd. It was really hard.
So
I
really would have liked to be able to hit a button and be like, okay, you switched your setup of weapons, so I wouldn't have to manually do that. If okay, I'm gonna fight this thing that is weak to this, but the weapons I have on don't have that. And there was also some really, really weird stuff like the targeting arrows. I never really used the override tree that much.
Oh yeah, those are the canisters, or I never really used them.
But I think that's it. I think I'm gonna let KZ back out of the cuck shed.
Right.
Okay. I have a question to ask after he gets back, and don't worry, it's safe.
I assume it's good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, now that KZ's back, I get to ask Phil the question that can't lead to spoilers. So, Phil, based on that, how excited are you for the VR game?
The same amount I always was, 0.
Okay, cool.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited for Horizon Forbidden West. I'm excited where the story goes, based on me remembering half of the first one and thinking the main character's boring. I'm very excited to play through it. I will do that this year.
It was really...
she started going on r/atheism since the first game.
I do remember that discussion that we had whenever this game launched, because I think we titled that.
It was... Yes. We titled it.
on r/atheism.
I really appreciate Jeff Gerstmann started his, new solo career.
Yep.
Leaving Giant Bomb. And on his first episode of the Jeff Gerstmann Show, very smart name. Good luck getting fired from any network that buys you. he points out, he's like, yeah, they're going to be making a Horizon show, which I don't know. Do you make a story about somebody who isn't Aloy? That's kind of boring. Well, I like the past stuff. Would they do a story about the past stuff, about how the world? Never mind. I don't want a series about that right now. I was like, yeah, you do not.
That's another thing. This isn't really spoiler since it's no main story, so it's safe for KZ. I really didn't like how so many data logs were just like sucking off these billionaires. Because it's like, and not like in an Elon Musk Dick Rider type of way, but like the billionaires could fix the world but choose not to, and I'm like, no, they can't. They're all uniformly stupid. We've learned that. Please get rid of this plot point from 2015.
Yeah, there's some real Ayn Rand going on in some of the character designs for that series.
Yeah, absolutely. But did you play anything else, Phil?
No, I'm done.
Oh shit! That means we need to talk about the summer game. Just kidding. It is in fact the motherfucking Podlords for June 9th, 2022.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, I love this.
Yes, that's right. The fucking Podlords.
Whoa.
Podlords such as you being surprised by the Podlords and how cool they are.
Holy shit!
Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown, Whoa, Elipits Be Upon Ye, Red Blaze 27, Billionaire Genius Juicifrost, Suzu Shiro, Emperor Zero, Shibuya Gato, Silent Hill. Nah, say hello to Bland's World, bitch.
Oh no.
This is so much better than what we do for Podlord.
Can I have your attention, please, ma'am? Ma'am? 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. WTF, Spider-Man. Deviants in chat during Poke Mondays.
Oh, don't show me that dude's head.
Is that an AI character? Am I doomed?
Yes, he's
Which
in the
Venture
sequel.
Brothers character is this?
Sonic Central, more like Sonic Rectal. This cock-a-doodoo stream was ass. What were they thinking? DFW 3K. Lots of uses for a shape-shifting arm.
Page, no.
Still not over that your main gameplay loop in MiHoYo's dating stream is owning people with facts and logic. Kristen. Raido Kuzunoha and Nocturne Figma pre-order waiting room. Hi, Adam here. I downloaded an entire MAME ROM set, and I'm curating it for a streaming project. This is hell. There is, and I can't even read it all. There's too much porn. There we go. Kyle Bjork, BN12. I may be a Podlord, but thank you other Podlords for making me laugh. One day, I'll have a good bit. Maddie Mo, Iron Aggro, Blig de Blue, Shilling de Blue, Monster Hunter, Ryzen and Raiden.
Ooh.
I couldn't be a Podlord last week because I forfeited all my earthly possessions to Smoliv.
Yeah!
Fair.
Jordan, Cooper Tank, Sonic Central 2022 in one image. AG's Bird Facts, now on YouTube. The I can't even was an ancient giant penguin that was over 4 feet tall and weighed 100 pounds.
Very cool.
Sonic Twitter.
It needs to like pull out and turn, and we see he's in a padded room.
Yeah. But it's assumed.
His name is Montgomery Mortimer Muddlesworth. Indigo Sykes. Induction Cooktop Master Race. This Podlord apparently didn't watch the extras where it started making a horrible sound.
Uh-oh. That makes sense. It's a big magnet.
They took the person from Technology Connections took it apart and it just started making that sound and they're like, did I break it? Uh-oh. Wow! All of the Xenoblade 3 special editions are mine to scout!
Sorry to anyone who tried to order that exclusively on the Nintendo store. It went down. They went, we give up. We'll try and sell them later. After 8 hours of nothing.
A raccoon that is getting ready to throw down in some streets.
Yo!
Very cool.
It's like some kind of street brawler.
A final fight.
Jack Colombo. Shinji16 would like to remind you that you matter. And that's where it ends. I don't know if the spreadsheet cut it off or what. I really doubt it, but thank you. Virvarm. Baby.
You had so much fun.
I don't remember.
Why
No.
itself?
No.
Reach heaven through violence.
I agree.
The Super Mim. Layton's World 25. The Hard M beat the part of Anthem where they try to stop you from playing the game. The antheming will continue.
Ugh.
MiHoYo's founders dash CEOs that are in the dating game they made.
All right. Good for you.
That's funny.
Sarah Lean. As a Charge Blade main, I decided to change the longsword after seeing its buffs because...
Easy mode is now selectable.
Pleochrome and... Ram didn't realize she was going to be Podlord for Game Month. What a good month. Thank you very much to our Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords. Having fun.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords!
Holy shit.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you,
We need to
Podlord!
We have to do this forever.
And if you'd
Thank
like
you.
to become a Podlord,
much.
And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/dbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to Chugging Bleach, our Bleach review podcast about all of Bleach, extended armchair dev pitches and gamer premonitions when those shows force us to leave ideas on the cutting room floor, and a patron-exclusive show, one per month, where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you don't have any money, you can always help us by telling your friends about these lunatics who yell into microphones on the internet. I get that there's a lot of them, but we're the best. Patreon.com/gbpodcast.
Yeah.
First bit of news. Did you guys know that MacBooks come with free presentation software?
Yo.
That's pretty cool news.
It is pretty cool news. I really miss Windows PCs coming with a suite of software to be like, this is so helpful.
Now there's like, here's a suite of software that you have to download and get a subscription service for.
Right, whereas this, it's like, I guess you can use this. And I'm like, oh, you have no idea the way I'm going to use this, Apple.
Uh-huh.
You are not fucking ready.
I'm so excited. It's so good. It's so good.
Patreon.com/GBPodcast.
Yeah.
I actually don't have the news document brought up for myself. Unfortunately, I have jack shit in there this week. One
yep.
moment.
I also have almost nothing.
Don't worry, Bob has one.
I didn't know I'd be
He'll
here,
have
so-
a whole page.
Yeah, Gro, why didn't you put anything in? Jesus Christ.
I don't trust the news, especially when it comes from me.
It'd be
Wait a second.
I am a biased source.
I thought you did all your own research, Aggro.
I do.
Uh-oh.
Don't trust people who say that.
I do on Twitter.
Peer reviewed. I take it down to the pier and ask Crazy Winston about it.
Oh, no. I'm going to cover the Apple WWDC.
the what?
The Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. See, they also
Okay.
use this as a time to announce products. They're redoing the OS for the iPad so that way you can do more desktop-like things. Like you can have multiple apps open in Windows, station them next to each other. They call the thing Stage Manager, and the left column of your iPad will just become groups of apps. So when you poke them, it will just expand them out into the position you left them in. And instead of when you hook up an iPad to an external monitor, it would normally just mirror the device and be stupid about it and not like it would just put the ratio of the iPad on the screen and black bars everywhere else. Now it treats it like a monitor, like a desktop or a laptop would. So it's just more screen real estate for you to move things around. So
Nice.
in theory, for Pokemon Days or something, Bob could hook it up in there, put up a reference image for something, which would be cheating.
Yeah, absolutely. No, can't do that.
Bob could use this technology to cheat, that filthy liar. And that was the most exciting thing on that end. The MacBook Air. Okay, so you people have probably heard me for the last year and a half been like, man, these Apple computers are coming out with, they're really powerful, they're really affordable, they're kicking the shit out of everything. What if Apple told you, what if we made it more powerful and it wasn't as affordable anymore because the new MacBook Air is $200 more?
Oh,
It's more powerful. A little bit. It's got a 1080p webcam.
well,
It
that's
looks-
okay. You dropped the price of the old MacBook Air, right? No, of course not.
They're like, it has a 1080p webcam, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then they're like, also, you can put a stand on your MacBook to put your phone on, so it becomes your webcam. And I'm like, but you put a stand on your MacBook to put your iPhone on it, and then the iPhone's cutting edge, way better quality camera becomes your webcam. And I'm like, then why do I care if it's 1080p? Aside from that, bunch of bullshit. I don't really. Did you catch anything else worth any? Oh! Super relevant thing. So for people who don't know, much like there's DirectX and OpenGL and Vulkan, Apple has their own. It's called Metal. Metal is adding shit that's features that are on par with the new consoles. So they're doing like the direct storage competitor, where you can. It's not as much of a CPU hit to load assets if people are using the API. You can stream it in the background. It's like the SSD tech on the PS5. They are adding, this is the funniest shit in the world. They're adding machine learning upscaling, like DLSS and the Intel version. Now everyone has one, but AMD who's pretending to have one. Literally everyone, even Apple. Now, I know you're sitting there and you're going, why would they need this? It's just phone games, right? Well, they announced this tech, this DLSS-like tech. And then the Capcom guy from Resident Evil Village's tech team comes out, the RE Engine tech director, and just goes, we got Resident Evil 8 running on a MacBook Air in 1080p. It's like a Christmas miracle. Yep. Okay, bye. I was like, all right, that's fair. That's impressive. Aside from that, nothing really to talk about.
Yeah, they added a bunch of stuff to the OS for phones too, where you can add things on your what do they call lock screen?
Yeah,
you can
the
add,
lock
like,
screen
widgets
has
on the lock
widgets
screen.
like Android did way long ago, and then they got
Right.
rid of for a bit, and then they brought back.
So that's neat.
No, it's really good. And they're bringing the weather app to the iPad. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Is it raining? Then your screen will show rain.
Shika shika kaboom.
$1,000. Please. Actually, I don't know what the iPads cost. Anyways. That's it.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to Gaming Directly News. Oh, God, look at that. Hey, Bob.
Yay.
You announced the thing I should have written in here, but for some reason I did. Instead,
You-
I just showed Tosh the trailer.
You can go for it then.
The Tomorrow Children's Resurrection will be called Phoenix Edition. It will rise from its grave later this year. The Tomorrow Children is a really cool looking game. Tosh, basically, my girlfriend, found it as a new religion for her. And then it died almost immediately. That game looks neat. I'm not even going to try to explain it to you, but you're in... Okay, here's one quick stab. You're in the void in a Soviet Russia post end of all existence apocalypse. And you must go into the void to find dead giants and mine their innards for delicious resources, which you must share with all of the people because...
So no, says the man in the void.
Yes.
It belongs to the state.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Literally. Yeah, that's coming out later this year. It's gonna run on PS5 at 60, looking at the trailer, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're also gonna do PC at some point. I don't know if they even announced that for that launch, but
Yeah.
Their plan is to do PC at some point. I'm gonna check out that video. Yeah, we did a video forever ago. You can watch that video. It's Tosh co-hosting it, so I bet she doesn't want you to. If I were to guess. I'm gonna check that out because they have to change how the microtransactions and everything else works to give the game a fucking prayer.
Yeah, they said that they rebalanced stuff a lot, so hopefully that game feels really different.
Because the way the game worked before is it was running on dedicated servers. And that left financial liability, and that made Sony go, okay, your game's shutting down now after like 2 months of being on the market. So now it's changed. It's more of a sane setup for servers and stuff. So more sustainable. That's it. We're gonna move to Feel.
Okay.
Feel, start with your last bullet first.
The Prince of Persia remake has been delayed till 2024, at least, they said. They didn't say 2024, they said at least 2024. And GameStop is going out of their way to refund people who pre-ordered it, which you can always request, but they almost never go like, take your fucking money back.
Yeah, this is the only time I've seen this happen was when Mortal Kombat X's PS3 and 360 versions were canceled.
Yeah, not even Duke Nukem ever once did this. Duke Nukem Forever. Yeah.
So I see only two possible outcomes to this now. Possibility one, it's canceled, and in my opinion, that's the far more likely option. Option two is they're like, we're scaling this up into being AAA. Because it did not look AAA. It looked like on the level of like that SpongeBob remake.
Right.
The last time and I always got the impression this was like, no, this is better than PS2, but it's not like top shelf. But if they're delaying, I cannot see them releasing a mid-tier Prince of Persia 1 remake after 5 years of development.
Yeah, it really puts them in a spot. Honestly, the way it looked originally, the stuff we saw originally, it looked worse than the original did.
Yes.
Because of sheer art design. So even though it was like, yeah, you used more polygons to make a character that looks like shit. They're in a really complicated situation. I don't know if that thing's ever coming out. I assume not.
Yeah, if it does, it would make sense to be like, this is our revival of the Prince of Persia franchise. We're getting back into it. Like, if they want to put the money in, this is the way to do it.
They're like, here it is, guys. We did it. Here's the Prince of Persia remaster. So if you sign up for PlayStation Plus,
Double plus good.
you can play this PS2 emulation. Fuck off now. And then they hang up.
Yeah, I would like to hope they were scaling it up, but I doubt it. This thing's so doomed. It feels like.
Yeah.
After an announcement at a Ubisoft Forward thing where they're like, it's out in 5 months, to it's been over 2 years since that, and it's still not coming out anytime soon. Kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wonder. I wish we knew what they were doing down there. Where I'm like, there's a lot of locations you've shown here. Did you just throw everything out? And also, like, it was 2 weeks ago, they said they changed developers on top of it, so it just becomes this thing of like,
yeah. So
someone had to come in after that and went, no.
Yeah, either they went, no, this isn't gonna work. Fuck this project, or they went, no, give this like Assassin's Creed money. We need to bring this franchise back.
Yeah, that would be the smart move at this point, because I feel like you get a lot of goodwill out of that.
What is? There's not supposed to be an Assassin's Creed this year, is there?
There are rumors of one, but, they cut out an expansion, but they haven't announced anything concrete.
They just did a Far Cry, which seemingly didn't do very well, or at least not as well as other Far Cries. I doubt they have a Watch Dogs on deck this fast, because that was also last year, wasn't it? Or was it 2020?
No, it was the year before.
Yeah, that was
it was right when the consoles were coming out, like a month before it.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably don't have an Assassin's Creed on deck. And all their
yeah, because remember, all these
Ubisoft and EA are all three of them are independently on fire for different reasons. Although some of the reasons are the same, the sexual predator part. But so it's just like I do wonder if they'll recover or just fall apart, and like Embracer Group is like, no, the only people making AAA games now are Sony. And the biggest other thing is like on the scale of like a Final Fantasy or something, that it has money, but not Horizon Forbidden West money.
Yeah, I was going to say Horizon gets to benefit from being in a space where it's almost like Sony is the only blockbuster in the gaming industry. Like, they're Hollywood. So it's like, look at this fucking game. It doesn't look real. And then you see other games and you're like, it has a great personality.
Yeah, the term is bad, but I feel like Sony games are like quadruple A.
If that thing existed, that would be it.
Yeah, like they're quadruple A, because then you have like actual AAA efforts from like a Capcom or sometimes from Square Enix or like other companies where it's like, okay, this is really good looking, but it isn't the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
All the time.
And it's like, you look at Horizon, it's got like 80 hours of gameplay. And according to critical reviews at the time, Resident Evil 3 Remake is 40 minutes long.
Yes. And then I'll look at like a Resident Evil 2 Remake and I'm like, that is a triple A ass video game.
Yep.
But Sony is still absurd. Like,
yeah.
So I wonder if we're not heading towards like a game industry where instead of what has been the case for the past 15 years, where big publishers go, we make 3 games, and if they don't sell 15 million copies each, we all have to hang ourselves. If it won't be something closer to Embracer Group, where it's like, no, we make 1 million games, and if each of them sell like 800,000 copies, that's great. We make a lot of lower budget games in different genres.
Yeah, I'd love if we could get back there, that PS2 era.
Yeah.
A lot of franchises can come back because now making a game doesn't mean a 6-year development cycle and $100 million of development funds. You can make the game in 2 or 3 years with like 20.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Unreal becoming more and more useful as a developer tool constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to wonder how long it's going to take for all these publishers who are crashing and burning to just swing back to the other side of, maybe we should try to make sustainable games.
Yeah.
But we'll have to give Unreal 8%.
But if we spend all of our money on one game, we may get infinite money back.
What if Assassin's Creed's the super ultimate game? What if we have the 2 of those with a Far Cry one going at the same time? Doesn't that make sense to everyone?
No.
They say the Assassin's Creed games are getting worse. Make them longer.
We're going to have 5 of those, Bob.
That's
we're going to
what
have
they've been doing. Every time it's making bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's an infinite game.
We're going to have the Assassin's Creed Infinite Death game, the Far Cry Infinite Death game, Skull and Bones, it's the Tom Clancy Infinite Death game, and Beyond Good and Evil 2, the Infinite Death game.
Like, people keep saying our games are bloated and not worth playing. What should we do? Fuck them. Make it longer.
I know the real problem. They want more.
I will never get over the Assassin's Creed or the Ubisoft, like, public relations person saying, we heard people's criticism and we really cut down and made Valhalla a real lean game, and it ends up being a third longer than the last one.
Didn't they delete that tweet?
They did. They did in fact delete that tweet, because I saw 2 separate reviews mention it and point out that the tweet was gone.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's weird because Assassin's Creed, out of all these IPs, is the least compliant conceptually with the Infinite Death game, because it's like, well, I mean, I assume most of these are going to try to become the Watchdog sort of thing. And it's like, you're the new Templar in town, go join up with 3 other Templar.
See, my vision of the of the Assassin's Creed Infinite Death game is they do Genshin Impact and you roll for your assassins, and they can add new eras to their fucked up map.
I mean,
so it's like you got to pay them $400 to roll for 5-star Ezio.
They've been gearing it towards that for a long while. Like the last 2 RPG focused ones were so intensely, it's no longer a stealth game. It's now just numbers game.
Yeah.
You need to get grind higher gear. So you could do whatever you're doing with Diablo Immortal.
Real quick, I'm just going to point out we had that moment as a culture, as an industry with Mega Man. Mega Man Legends come out, and you hear all these fucking boomers just be like, Mega Man Legends isn't like the Mega Man I like. This isn't what I think of. And yet somehow Assassin's Creed did this transition. So many of them were like, I love Assassin's Creed. That's what this is. I'm like, what? Fucking what?
And every time I see them say that, they're like, I didn't like any of the other ones. but this Egypt one that's just Diet Witcher. Now that was good.
And Diet Witcher is being charitable. I tried that. That was one of the ones I got tricked by all the positive reviews on that game. I'm like, yeah, this is like The Witcher if it had no writing and only had the element of where your attacks are actually a cone that only affect the thing you're locked onto and nothing else.
Yeah.
They're like, Assassin's Creed has finally matured and evolved into the game it always could have been. I'm going to go eat a baby now.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm still really personally offended by what happened to that series.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair. It's really fucked up that happened.
Yeah. I kept coming back every time hoping to like, okay, this is going to be the one. And then it's like, with those, they drove so far off that cliff. It was like, you're never coming back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, your core concept was so cool.
Yeah.
But we got way in the weeds on this one. We need to...
Yeah, we did. We got to move on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yuru kill the calumniation. The calumniation? I don't know how...
The calumniation.
The
Columbia
calumniation.
Pictures presents.
It's a visual novel shmup hybrid, and it looks like a good shmup.
Huh.
It launches it launches July 5th, and I think there's a demo, but I didn't get a chance to check it out. South Korean game developer NCSoft has announced Project M, an interactive narrative game that is shaped by player choices. So think of like a Quantic Dream type game. It's using Unreal Engine 5 and has hyper realistic graphics, and it looks insane. Some of the shots in the trailer tricked me, and I'm like, no, this is a picture. Fuck you.
Yeah. That thing looks insane. I'm very excited. I want more people in this space. A lot of people are like, I hate game that like movie. And I'm like, I like game that like movie.
Right?
I want movie interactive game. Very good. Sometimes funny.
They're like, it's not a real game. I'm like, it's also not 2007, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like obvious. Like, it isn't taking over the industry. And I understand thinking that, worrying about that a little bit in 7th Gen, where every game was terrible and it seemed like devs would just take the chance, just give up, and be like, every game is now Heavy Rain. But that didn't happen.
Right. And there was even that at that time, there was a lot of like, man, I hate this Sony is using a ton of money on this horrible person to tell these stories poorly.
Right. And that's, I understand. Luckily, as a fan of the Sega CD, that went under everyone's radar. The best gaming platform ever created.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never had a problem with these because I like FMV games and think they're funny. And this is, I guess, what the evolution of that became.
And that's great.
Like that super massive one or whatever it is. The Until Dawn devs, like their game Decor is coming out next week. And that's pretty much in that ilk. I especially like the ones where it's like it's different depending on your choices, and there's like different permutations of how the game can go.
Yeah, I think one of the more interesting things to bring up with this is NCSoft, so Guild Wars.
Yeah, they have all that money from their MMO outings. So.
Yeah, it really does seem like that we're entering the era where a lot of these companies that made super popular gacha games are like, well, there's no more growth in that region. What do we do? Make a normal game?
Kind of lost me for a second, Dan. Like, oh yeah, look at this intricate story-based game. NCSoft, Guild Wars. Oh god, ArenaNet's not writing it, are they?
It's so funny to see like multiple games going, all right, we're gonna try and do something that's kind of like a Quantic Dream game, but you know, not by them. Meanwhile, Quantic Dream's like, we're gonna put combat in our Star Wars game.
I mean, Quantic Dream was also like, we're not making that game because we can't find anybody to work for us anymore.
I do love all these people taking shots at that because, you know, it's like, I'm David Cage and this is the David Cage game, and everybody's like, we don't want to make David Cage games, but it's like Stephen King and I think a couple other people have a common quote about there's the book the second most important book you'll read as an author is the one that inspires you to want to write. The most important book you'll read as an author is the one where you go, well, shit, I can do better than this.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's true.
I think the industry is waking up like, well, fuck, we can do this.
David Cage is like, no.
For half the
And
money.
He's somehow transported back to the courtroom and crying.
I really do wonder if there isn't like this trend in smaller like developers with a lot of new employees, like fresh to the industry, who look at some of these other games and are like, why did they have so much trouble getting that working? It's in Unreal 5.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point when your engine and interactivity sucks because you wanted better visual fidelity is solved by, Unreal Engine being licensable and these consoles being insanely strong, you end up in a good spot.
So now it's time for more talk of things on fire. One of those big exposés on how shitty a developer or publisher came out. This time Bethesda is on the chopping block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll just
surprising.
run down the bullet points of this big expose. Crunch on Fallout 76 was so bad that it was literally like destroying testers mentally. There's anecdotes of testers going, I fell in the stairs and almost broke something, and I wish I had so I wouldn't have had to come to work. And the idea of fantasizing about being too injured to come to work is the only time I was happy working on Fallout 76.
Oh my god.
Testing was not only they were not only in Giga Crunch mode. Testing was so unorganized, people would work on an outdated build for like days and then find out all that work had to be thrown out because it was on an outdated build.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
There were snitches in every team ratting people out if they took too long in the bathroom or slacked off. And they were not like planted by management. They were doing it for free. They were like, this might help my career if I sell out other people. If you
Go for it.
no.
Thank you.
Everybody already knows what I'm going to say.
Yup.
So I don't need
Yeah.
to say it. Redfall and Starfield got delayed because of this fucking game. Redfall and Starfield
Yep.
both lost developers to this game to try and fix it after launch. They
Fallout
probably would have been ready to
76.
do that.
Sounds about right.
The game that should have been canceled. They
Yeah.
should have just let go when it launched and failed.
Should
What a
never been
stupid
named.
company.
The opening of that
Yeah.
E3 should have been whoops,
Yeah.
and somebody pulling a plug on stage.
Multiple employees equated to Todd Howard to a hurricane because he wasn't really supervising this game at all, despite being, supposedly the producer. He was mostly focusing on Starfield 2, but sometimes he'd show up to just say, throw all this out and then leave. Bethesda suffered a major exodus of senior staff due to Fallout 76.
I believe that.
Yeah.
This has since caused problems because one of the reasons that Bethesda has clung to the creation engine for 20 years is because, well, all our senior staff know how to use it. It would take time to train them to use Unreal 5.
Uh-huh.
So now they're in the situation
no.
where when we have to replace people who don't know how to use this
Right.
archaic shit.
Did your bad corporation do a fucky wucky and brain drain yourself?
Oops. How could that have happened?
Ah.
Lots of employees with a lot of multiplayer experience, like people from the Elder Scrolls Online who know about this thing, were like, guys, you need to change the course of this train. It's coming right at us. But everybody in power went, no.
This was so much worse because I didn't read Field's news.
Neither did
before
I.
Oh
we-
yeah, I also didn't. I just
This
knew
is
he was writing a lot of
nightmare.
bullets, and I got scared.
I can't wait for the first news story where a game developer union cancels a project out from under management because they're not stupid.
Oh my
That would
God.
be great. That would be unbelievable.
It'd be so beautiful.
At a certain
With-
point, you take the collective action of you are ruining our careers. Stop it.
And that became a national holiday
known as Go
crazy-
Fuck Yourself
I need
Day.
I need that to happen to Ken Levine now.
I'm sorry, KZ. Society doesn't progress that fast.
You're right.
The creation engine sucks so bad at this point that updating the build of the game breaks all the tools they have for testing it, and then they have to fix the tools before they can test the game.
I wonder why Starfield's not coming out this year.
Fucking mysteries.
We knew this had come out a bunch of times, but it's worth yelling from the treetops. QA finds almost every bug in every Bethesda game. They just decide not to fix them before shipping.
Working as intended.
Yeah, of
Yep.
course.
Everyone,
Everyone who plays it finds them with no effort. So I imagine like UA.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we always talk about those policies they have of a game launched with this bug before, so we don't have to fix it.
Yeah.
So it was already an acceptable product.
But are you telling me Bethesda games have qualified immunity?
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, it's okay. We found out that this bug is below the lethal dose,
Yep.
critically speaking.
This is one of the parts of this article that gave me convulsions.
Uh-oh.
Microsoft seemingly acknowledges that they have the touch of death and are not doing any with none of the studios they buy. They are not interfering in them at all. Not even to try and fix things that they know are fucked up, because they're like, what if we ruin it? Somebody says Microsoft has a house of cards approach to these studios where they're afraid if they touch them at all, they will suddenly fall to pieces.
Yeah, because they have a history. There's objective evidence of this over a decade.
Right, but I
Yeah.
mean that says to me that there may in fact be a shortage of feedback. And I was led to believe that there would be no shortage of feedback.
Oh, don't worry. That's when they touch the card, and that's why they phrased it like that, because the lack of shortage of feedback is the hurricane.
Is this a supply chain issue?
Phil
This
Spencer.
feedback shortage?
Phil Spencer is the storm.
Is Biden ruining Bethesda?
Yes.
You guys haven't heard the worst part of this entire expose.
No, what?
Is it breast milk?
Before the in my opinion, worse.
What?
Before the acquisition, the employees were like, "This is going to be great. Microsoft employees get all these benefits we don't have." And then Microsoft went, "Well, we're taking a hands-off approach."
Oh,
Kill them. Allegedly.
unionized.
So you don't really need all these benefits we give real Microsoft employees.
Oh, what's up, Colony Company?
Yeah.
Oh my
come
God.
on.
That's not an acquisition. That is a conquest.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Just generate some profits for us out there on those islands.
Do we? And I'm not asking practically, because I know we practically don't, but technically, don't we have some kind of regulatory body to prevent shit like this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we fucking do.
It'd be
On
a shame
paper.
if they were owned by someone. Off paper.
Thank you for the news, Mr. Phil.
That's the end of our nightmare block for this week.
The total number of Bethesda employees vastly outnumbers Microsoft executives, right?
Yes.
Oh, it's a fun fact.
Oh, that is a fun fact.
Well, maybe not now because so many are quitting.
True enough.
So they'll fix things with Activision when they get them, though, right? That's what we all have to sit here and believe,
Are
right?
you implying there's something wrong with Activision?
What was that thing you said in Armchair Devs?
Productivity up. Everything
is
fine.
fine.
Everything's
There's no
fine.
cause for alarm.
Oh my God.
Oh, what a dark story this week.
Okay.
Hello.
KZ, are you okay with me taking your second bullet because I loved this story, and as the guy who owns 1-2 Switch, I really wanted to talk
Oh
about
yeah,
this.
this is the one I was gonna open with it first, so go for it. Knock it out, buddy.
So, Aggro, have you played 1-2 Switch?
I haven't. It was a full price game that should have been a pack in.
Yes.
Wait for
Hold
it.
on.
Have you heard of the sequel?
3, 4
No,
Switch?
everyone 1-2 Switch.
That's terrible. No, I haven't.
So everybody's 1-2 Switch was a game that has been in development, and the whole time people are like, this seems like it could be good. This could be neat. We're opening up to do multiplayer stuff. We're doing online lobbies. People could join in their phones and other Switches and other stuff, and we're opening up these games, and oh, this fucking sucks! And everyone just looks at each other. Everyone involved just goes, this will seriously damage the reputation of Nintendo as a manufacturer of quality software if we ship this. They already made boxes. They're sitting in warehouses. They don't know what to do with this. There are people in charge saying, for the love of God, just make it a part of the expansion pack. For the love of God, just give it to them as a part of some bundle so they don't feel like they paid anything for it. Because this game is rotten to the core. They did playtests. The playtests are coming back smatteringly terrible. We're talking families just going, it was so boring, we just wanted to get out. This is one of the worst games it sounds like Nintendo's ever made.
This story on its face sounds like a bad thing that happened. But put in the context of what we were just talking about, this is a good result of the bad thing that happened.
Yes.
They didn't ship the game.
But they don't know yet. They might still do it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But there's one part of the story that gave me a stroke, and I'm happy it's there because it confirms something I always suspected.
Mm-hmm.
When they started to develop this, there was like, we were told not to make a game that could in any way conceivably replace the first one because we wanted it to continue selling, which confirms my suspicion I've had for years that Nintendo will only make one Zelda and one Mario per console because they're scared that they'll cannibalize themselves somehow because they're crazy.
Yeah, because they have eternal sales. They get to sell Mario Odyssey for the entire life of the Switch.
The eternal sales of 1-2 Switch, though?
Yes.
That's insane.
They believe in it.
That sold over 3 million copies.
Yeah, that thing, I think they said it was 4, but I don't remember. It was a decent amount of sales.
I feel so bad for 4 million people.
Theoretically, I have been robbed of a Majora's Mask style Breath of the Wild, and now I'm just pissed.
Yeah.
One of the examples for mini games in everyone's 1-2 Switch, by the way, is bingo, but the person hosting it has to do a bunch of shit with the Joy-Con to simulate pulling the ball out. It's really tedious and stupid, and everybody hated it.
Okay, here's my favorite story that came out of this, okay? The host of everybody's 1-2 Switch is some weird bipedal horseman. And in other languages, they're like, horse is kind of close to the sound of the word host. So it kind of works that he's the host. And he's just a dude, normal dude wearing a horse mask. You know? Mm-hmm. The playtester's so sick of this fucking game, started shorthand calling it horse shit. And I'm like, it's not an inaccurate title. He's hosting it and it's a bunch of shit. Yeah, this thing's an absolute fucking nightmare. But yeah, one of the things is it lets you use smartphones to play with 100 player lobbies. It's inspired by Jackbox games. They have absolutely no idea what to do with this. And it is staggering. I've never seen Nintendo in a situation like this where they go, oh, fuck.
I mean, except for the Wii U.
I mean, yes, this is the Wii U, the game.
So better than the Wii U, which was the Wii U of the 5 years.
Yeah, the Wii U, the generation. Yes. But it's interesting. I'm curious if they will eat the cost on all these boxes in the development of the game just to be like, here it is. It's a part of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion. Because frankly, when they said that, I was like, I actually might upgrade just to check it out.
Here's what they do.
Yeah.
Don't eat that cost. Absolutely not. That's bad business. Go harder. Throw a little more good money after bad. Build a fucking museum in the middle of Shinjuku. All right? Put all those boxes up on walls, in shadow boxes, behind glass, on plinths, in rows, columns of them everywhere. Make it the museum of the one bad game Nintendo ever made.
So another part of this, which was killing me, because it's like, wow, it's good to know that Nintendo's still Nintendo, is reports that like executives are extremely resistant to any outcome that isn't selling this for $60.
Yeah, of course.
They don't want to give it away. They don't want to sell it for less.
Yeah, I was like, maybe just put it out there for 20, but no, clearly not.
Yeah, after reading Reggie Fils-Aime's book, where they had to fight tooth and nail for several months to get Wii Sports as a pack, and I believe this 100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Things do not change.
That he didn't fully win because it's only in the West that was a pack in.
Yeah.
Japan had to buy it.
We can't sell this game at full price, but it's a Nintendo game.
I see.
Nintendo's crazy. They'll be like, here's Tropical Freeze, the Wii U game. It's now $10 more.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay. So next up, this came out today during another Sonic stream, I guess. The Sonic 3 and Knuckles portion of Sonic Origins will not feature every song from the original for reasons. Jun Senoue is working to adapt those tracks that are missing to be as close to the original 1993 style as possible for that port.
Yeah, this seems like what was necessary to release Sonic 3 again.
Yeah. That stinks.
It's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully whatever they come up with is still good.
It's just live and learn in the middle of Ice Cap Zone.
I'll take it.
It would just be funny. I mean, obviously you don't do live and learn. Ice Cap Zone starts with him on the snowboard. So you open it with Escape the City.
Of course.
Duh. And then Act 2 is live and learn.
Okay, you have some really good ideas. They came out and said they had the prototype tracks they didn't use, so they're building from those. Yeah, I did see that they did. They are like looking at the prototype stuff before other collaborators,
Yeah.
came in to punch things up.
Yeah, the prototype tracks leaked a little while ago because for the longest time people thought they just invented those tracks for the PC version. But it's like, no, that was a part of that game's soundtrack. And then when Brad Buxter, definitely Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson alone came in and made songs for Sonic 3 and not just repurposed Stranger in Moscow and Hard Times, the Jetsons song. They replaced them, so they never fully developed those. So when it comes to PC, it's just like, enjoy this. That was really fun. Did you guys see that interview? Brad Buxter, one of the writing staff of Michael Jackson, one of the guy from the Jetsons, the guy who wrote that song "Hard Times" for the Jetsons, did an interview in the last week.
What?
Where he goes, yeah, Sega comes up to Michael and Michael's like, yeah, I'll make a song. And then Michael comes to me and he goes, make a song.
What can I say? The king delegates.
Yeah, he didn't seem bitter or anything. He's like, that's just how it worked, man. My God, that's amazing.
That's what I had to do, and it just happened.
Yeah.
All right, next up, some games media news. Jeff Gerstmann leaves Giant Bomb, making it so none of the original creators are now on the site at this point. He is now doing a podcast called The Jeff Gerstmann Show. It has a Patreon. I think he will be doing fine. When I listen to it, he's like, I've had to spend more and more time as things have developed, worrying about metrics, doing meetings about what should work, and I'm tired of it. I just want to talk about video games.
Understandable.
Yeah. Did anyone else read the Giant Bomb official post?
No.
Yes.
Nightmare.
Yeah, that thing is a little rough as it talks about how it's like an SNL cast that can be varied. And it's like, no, this was the founder.
You really shouldn't be comparing yourself to SNL ever.
Yeah, it's been really rough because they've been doing a lot of drives for like premium and stuff and a lack of transparency on like content. And a lot of the things that Jeff said he wanted to do when they changed things up a few months ago just never happened. So I'm sure that was part of it. Just like, they're like, the metrics won't be good on the things you want to do. So he decided to tap out. The funniest thing to come out of this is they're like, we're going to get a few people in. One of the rumors is that Jeff Grubb will be full-time on Giant Bomb.
I mean, that's what it seemed like was happening.
Let's look at their how many subscribers Giant Bomb has and how many they have a year from now.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I don't think that's publicly available information, but I'm sure maybe it'll come out.
Right?
Somebody's got
And,
it.
Worth noting, Jeff Gerstmann has 6,155 patrons already, having run this for, 2-3 days?
Yeah. Jeff must have timed this with E3 because he knew.
Yeah,
Like,
he
he's
knew.
just like, because he wasn't even on like the final bombcast that he got to talk about him leaving. He just left.
Yeah.
So I have to wonder how bad that went on that side.
There was no farewell, and he immediately had 2 sponsors for the podcast, and he just immediately went into them for paid ad reads.
It was so
I have
funny.
to
He's losing
imagine-
it. He's losing it while doing those ad reads too. He's just like, you know what Blue Chew is, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, it makes your dick hard. And I'm like, excuse me. And then he goes on for a minute about this shit, and I lose it.
I could not believe that he got that much time out of Magic Spoon, where it's like, it's the cereal. You want this, it has this and this. And it's going to be like 4 a.m. You're just going to knock out the whole box. But what if it was good shit and not bad shit?
Yeah, he's like, you know what a fruit-flavored cereal tastes like. You have an expectation there. Well, this is that without all the crap.
Yeah, he's so good at that. The funniest thing, and it's now my new headcanon, Dan Reichert announced he's returning to Giant Bomb full-time. I will now assume Jeff left, understandably, to avoid Dan Reichert.
Honestly?
I guarantee. No. That says to me that they were like, "Oh, we fucked up." Because
Yes.
the way he left says to me that they must have been like so overbearing and not understanding how much of Giant Bomb is Jeff Gerstmann that he's just like, "Why am I still here?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?" And then they were like, "Oh fuck, we fucked up. We better get anybody to not just make the site flatline immediately."
Like, just imagine they're putting the squeeze on Jeff fucking Gerstmann when he's the only remaining actual member of Giant Bombs, not someone later employed by them.
Right.
A member of Giant Bomb. They're putting the squeeze on him. They're pretending that he needs to bargain for shit. It's like, you don't understand. Everything you just acquired goes to nothing if you do not give this man what he wants. And they fucked up.
Yeah.
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 Well, this is what happens when I need to look up what company bought them. Oh, it was a fucking investment firm.
Yes.
Yeah, that investment.
Yeah,
thing.
one of those going around.
It was a bunch of venture capitalists. So of course they don't know shit and don't understand that like the people are required for this. Like it just becomes no, we know the most because we run these sites that are just grids of 4x4 rectangles with aggregate content. We can turn Giant Bomb into that, right?
Maybe the new Giant Bomb can start up the Traders to America list and get some of that magic going.
Oh, yeah.
God.
God.
Yeah, it's really rough. I almost wanted to be optimistic when they're like, we're going to bring Danny O'Dwyer in to do content. He's been gone for months. He just returned to doing no clip full time, but he was going to try and do shows over there. That's completely fallen out.
Yeah, like I feel if you're listening to this and you're somebody who's like a type of person who'd be hired by Giant Bomb now, like who isn't established in some other way, don't. Like you're not. This isn't your chance. This is the opposite. Actually, you're signing up to work on a sinking ship.
Let me tell you, there is an opportunity in my life where I applied to work at Giant Bomb. I felt bad that didn't work out. And then within a year and a half, I started to feel better on a sliding scale all the way until today.
Uh-huh. You're like, I didn't get in, and these hires got in, and the product continued to stay in its high quality, I'm sure.
Yes, of course. I
It's
definitely
really-
didn't look at the talent that came in and went, okay.
It's so funny in the past week and a half. Nextlander, that has a chunk of old Giant Bomb alums, is like, we're starting another podcast on top of it with even more of the old crew that'll just cycle in. I'm like, God, it's really bad out here.
Yeah.
But
This is this new trend where just investment companies are trying to get into every single field.
Well, yeah.
Like that's
Real
the
estate
people,
wasn't
that's the
enough.
people who that's the people who own like Kotaku and all those sites now is some fucking investment company called Deathstone or whatever.
Right? Like there are parts of economic activity happening that are not paying dividends to investment firms. And that is unacceptable.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And investment firms are not staffed by human beings. They're staffed by simulacrums,
And they are run by
Wearing the skin
algorithms,
of
and no
human
one's
beings.
responsible for anything they do.
Yeah, of course, because it's an algorithm.
And gee, I wonder why the economy's on the verge of collapsing.
It's a real fucking mystery, and we really can't point fingers, okay?
It's impossible to do that. Well, don't even try.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guess we'll move on. We got a rumor here that Hideo Kojima's next game is a horror game called Overdose. Going to be starring Margaret Qualley, who was Mama in Death Stranding. We know nothing else about it. That's just apparently what's next.
Do we know where the rumor's from?
I saw it propagating in a couple of places. Mainly came from like a Nickelodeon report.
Worth noting, it's described as both a third-person and first-person game.
Huh.
Like, either you will change based on segments or interchangeable. Unclear.
Or the madman's finally gone and made a second-person game.
Dun, 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 dun. Isn't that Geist? Where you become you?
Wouldn't that be the boss of the first level of Battletoads?
I think
Yes.
this is exciting. Like the thought of him not just working on no Death Stranding, but something else.
Yes, thank God.
Yeah, that could be cool. I was
Because
excited for whatever Kojima wants to do.
I really like Death Stranding. I really don't think it's a great IP for a sequel.
No.
I'm glad that he seems to be working on something because I doubt that this is an open world horror game. It's probably more linear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, please go back to doing like linear, really well designed, polished things. I liked Death Stranding. The time before Death Stranding, you tried that formula. It really didn't work out at all. So yeah, like I'm excited. Especially since Kojima is making it, meaning it will be a game. And not like you're a helpless horror protagonist, just run away.
Okay.
All right, so things have been very busy for Capcom in regards to Street Fighter this week. At least the last time we did a podcast. They accidentally got their entire roster leaked this past week of 22 characters.
Mm-hmm.
And this type of leak, it's not just a list. It is the art of every single one of those characters, and people went, that art is in 3D renders in those trailers. This is seemingly like this is it.
This is legit as shit.
Yeah, and their Twitter said, you saw some stuff you weren't supposed to see, but we love all of the positive reactions that are almost unanimous.
Yeah,
So,
no, that cast looks
We're all in
great.
this together.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a ton of actually new characters that look cool. No Abels among them.
Yeah, there's 8 newcomers in this if you want to count Luke.
Yeah, we should. Because
And-
he's nothing like about 5 for Luke.
Based on the reaction I've seen, yeah.
Yeah, let's pretend he's not in 5.
They redesigned Ed, and now I'm not angry looking at him.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a meatball anymore.
Like I'm really happy that
we're
it's like,
back.
oh, he had anything resembling. He now looks anything resembling his original design instead of just, well, we made him big because we don't know how to make a character that isn't big in the Street Fighter V engine.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, everything that came out about this game, super exciting.
Yeah, I think the only disappointment is all of the returning characters are from 2. I don't think there's anyone from another game.
There's a couple. There's like Rashid and
Oh,
Jury.
Rashid and Jury. That's it.
But not
Yeah,
the important game, which is 3.
They're like, we will get the most popular rep from the previous 2 numbered ones.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least like the main pro tag, because that is what Rashid's role in 5 is.
Allegedly, yes.
Well, that's what they tell me.
Yep. They keep putting out art where they're like, here's the main characters from each one, and I'm like, oh, all right. Also at Summer Game Fest, they reveal one of these lead characters, Guile. He looks sick as hell, and he's able to do all of his moves in a sober way, unlike Street Fighter V.
He's so cool. I love his redesign. Everyone's redesign is so good. I want to cry.
Yeah, they're all winners.
Yeah, it's
He
crazy.
shows up in a denim flight suit, and it's like the first time as an American you see Maxter Gundam.
Yeah, the
God,
Rashid redesign actually made him look cool. Even it's like, how do you do that? What?
See, I didn't even see the Rashid one. He's Rashid, so he disappeared when I looked at that roster. I was like, where is he? The Street Fighter V character I'm supposed to care about.
I didn't even recognize DJ on that until someone pointed it out. I was like, oh, okay. Jesus.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6 is the most exciting Street Fighter's been in a while.
Yeah, they
It's
also
great.
did that thing yesterday where they had Rolling Stone release a music video for their opening song, and I was like, this is good.
Yeah, they did that. They showed the versus screen, which we had already seen in the trailer, where it's just like a garage opens after you select the characters. They play a cool track. There's like a really good presentation to it that reminded me of like, oh, they've caught up to NetherRealm now in terms of stuff. And then went back to the past to give us a Soul Calibur 2 like taunts where you press buttons to make your character make a weird face.
Yeah, they're both just making the face at each other like this, and you just hit directions on the D-pad to determine what face they will make at each other, and it's the best.
One of them has to have Max Payne face.
Rashid should have Max Payne face.
I think one of the characters in the first expansion pass should just be mocapped by Sam Lake.
Yes. Makoto.
You hit the switch and he just turns to face the camera and does the face.
Do the face, Makoto.
They should bring back Q, and all it does is make his head tilt.
Yes. No, he makes the sounds. He just goes.
The only one that makes sounds, so it becomes an incredibly popular character.
He was one of the best characters in the world. He's wearing an iron mask, and sometimes at random, when a battle ends, he crushes their face with his foot. And it's like, oh god, he's doing it again.
Yeah, we don't need Diet Q that we got last time. We need real Q if we want to do that.
I think we're kind of getting Diet Q again, because in that leak there was a character named JP who is wearing kind of a similar outfit as G did.
Huh.
As the president of the world.
And he has like a question mark next to his flag.
Yeah, he is a part of some other faction the way Ed is for Neo Shadaloo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all exciting. Good to see various different reps. I saw people cheering that the Mexican rep is not El Fuerte from Street Fighter 4. Peace is returned to the kingdom. Also, all the clips they show is really great.
El Fuerte was really lame. Like,
yeah,
not just his design and him and like his weirdo moves where he like eats hot peppers and goes crazy. But also just the fact is like, what's our luchador character's name? The Strong in Spanish.
Yeah, I feel like conceptually I should have liked that character a lot because it was like, oh, he's a chef and a wrestler, and it was like this neat cross section, and it was lame.
They
like
did
a lot
not
of
nail
stuff
it.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been enjoying the frequent clips they've been posting of like characters' mechanics and other stuff like that, and clips of the soundtrack, and I'm like, man, they found the personality and identity of the series again.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is just Street Fighter 6 is just a sequel to 3.
Yeah.
Which, feels great. Moving on, we mentioned it earlier. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl got voice acting items. Went through that and what we've been playing. Sonic Frontiers is getting a prologue animated thing that stars Knuckles. We saw 2 seconds of it, and those 2 seconds were one shot. It just showed the Master Emerald and Knuckles, and that's it.
This should have been a really cool announcement, and they gave it to us in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They got me hyped and then angry over the course of 10 seconds. That was crazy. And last thing before the conferences start hitting me in the head again. Sony Bend unveiled their new logo and confirmed their next game's a new IP that's going to have multiplayer and feature the open world systems of Days Gone.
But will it involve the shit?
No, it's a new IP, so we're out there in the fucking.
Yeah, I just came in from out there. You were out in the bitch? I was out in the bitch.
It's ass out there. Total ass.
Ass as far as the eye can see.
AVGN writes this next game.
Oh my. But seriously though, some game needs to have James Rolfe be a major character. We're getting there. We need performance capture. We need everything. Kojima, you can make it happen.
Oh fuck.
Now I'm just picturing Hartman, but it's James Rolfe.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
God.
God.
That would be unreal.
So thankfully, thought we could just knock out this one because I didn't put it in notes. The Devolver conference happened,
Mm-hmm.
and it thankfully only showed 4 games, so I was able to pull them up on one screen quickly,
Ooh.
be able to roll through them. Cult of the Lamb is launching on August 11th. That's the one where you create sacrifices to and fight.
You run a cult out in the
monsters.
woods with other farmland animals. It is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
You know, like you
Yeah.
do.
Hail Satan.
For anybody who's ever been to Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
All the context you need.
Mm-hmm.
That would be.
We got another trailer for Skate Story.
It looked really
which
cool
is-
this time.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. You do skateboarding moves. You're apparently made out of crystal and shatter when you bail.
Tony Hawk's Crystal Chronicles.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we got a couple of really cool revealed ones. Angerfoot, a
Yeah.
fast-paced first-person action game where you're constantly kicking shit open and shooting people.
It's pretty good.
Yup.
Mm-hmm. And just driving with your feet.
Very angry 90s indie comic.
Yes. And this was my game of the show. The Plucky Squire got announced, where they show like this classic Toy Story like kids room. And they open up a storybook with this really nice art style that then transitions to them becoming real 3D characters that like explore stuff. I then learned that James Turner, who worked at the Pokemon Company as a designer on Sword and Shield and stuff from various gens, left the Pokemon Company, and this is like their new studio.
Okay, I heard that guy left earlier today. I didn't realize he was doing this.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
realize this was
and
connected
I don't know
to
why
him,
it
but
didn't hit me. That's his art style and all of the art he posts on Twitter.
Oh, that's really good. That's super exciting.
yeah, for
Mhm.
people who don't know, I believe he worked at the Pokemon Company from Black and White all the way until
Yeah.
Sword and Shield, and
Yeah.
just recently, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but they
He was the lead
I-
art director on Gen 8, I think. Sword
Yeah,
and Shield.
yeah, he was
Yes.
lead art director on that. Yep.
like he was front facing on that. And yesterday he said, "I got a new studio. It's this. We're gonna announce something soon." And then today this popped up, and this looked really really nice.
Yeah, it looked incredible.
Yeah, it's coming out on Switch, PC, Xbox Series, and PS5 in next year. And
Good stuff.
that's everything from the Devolver show, which we thoroughly enjoyed. We have some sort of VOD of that, I believe.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah, that Devolver show is immaculate. Go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
And now,
If you're okay, I can try to shotgun these as fast as humanly possible.
Machine gun it, Kelly.
please do.
Cuphead DLC shows a cool boss, Ice Boss, June 30th. Make a sound, everyone.
Good.
Neon White. I can't remember this. Anyone?
Steve Bloom voices guy
yeah.
who fights
Car-
demons for
Car-
angels.
That one.
Looks like a solid
Yeah,
B.
that one.
Yeah, I liked it when I played the demo.
Yeah, cool. Looked good.
Step into the mind of a homosexual.
Aliens, Dark Descent,
I'll
Xbox,
dive in head
PS4,
first with mouth open.
PS5, PC. That I'm totally down for a third-person top-down
Licensed
shooter.
alien swarm. Let's go.
Right, exactly.
I mean, go ahead. They already put out a Left 4 Dead one like last year, so sure.
Callisto Protocol ends the trailer with the most fucked up look at his face, realizing he's being ground up.
Yeah, that's
That
Yep.
was awesome.
That
This
game's
is
all
now
the way
like
what it is.
I am buying this day one. I'm actually kind of like in. I'm like,
Yeah, there's
I streamed
Melee.
the Dead Space games. I got to do it.
they add melee to it. They have a dodge mechanic. It looks
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It looks like the next like evolution of that isn't a forced co-op nightmare.
Shooting, rain, night, steel boats on ships moving slightly from side to side. That's right, Modern Warfare 2. Moving on. Flashback to...
Okay, I'm jumping in the air.
Ask your parents.
Yeah, come on.
Coming this winter.
And ask your uncle if they don't know. Maybe you'll get better luck.
Yeah.
Witchfire.
Fuck yeah.
Looks
That
really
was
cool.
insane.
Yeah,
Where's
absolutely
that game been in my
great.
life?
So
Found out it's a roguelite. That's a little bit discouraging, but it looks. But if it plays good, it can overcome like 30XDX and Dead Cells.
Yes.
Y'all take it. That looked fun as hell.
Yeah, no, it gets it.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah,
can
it's fun.
absolutely get it.
Yeah.
This one passed through me. I'm really glad you wrote this note, KZ.
Yup.
Fort Solid announced. You're in space trapped with Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
That's
was the
the only
first of
thing
2
anyone
Troy
can retain.
Bakers.
Like you're in space and it's kind of spooky. You picked the wrong year to hold back on this trailer, my man.
I know, right? Like this is the one space spooky one where we don't know a threat.
Routine has a soundtrack by Mick Gordon and has scary as shit robots.
Also in
Yep.
space.
First person space horror.
Yeah, it's got a weird like analog camera gun or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
you're constantly spouting electricity from the environmental interactions.
Yes. Then The Rock had no shirt on.
Always a treat.
Yep.
What was the name of that energy drink he was shilling? Zoa?
Roa?
I was going to guess Zoa.
Maybe-
Okay, I think it's Zoa.
Maybe it is, yeah.
It is Zoa. I put in my media thread this conference that it's just a shirtless picture of him doing the eyebrow with a motion blur can.
Somebody showed a CG trailer for their fanfic based on Blizzard properties, and then it was like Stormgate. It's also an RTS, and I'm like, oh, thank you.
We got one screenshot that went, oh, yeah, that is what that would be. Ex-Blizzard devs making a game that
Yup.
Blizzard will never make.
Diablo versus Diva. Let's go.
High water.
Let's hope.
Sorry, go ahead, Phil.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I got knocked out of it by Bubble. Oh,
High water.
Yeah.
It looked like Bubble.
It was like ruined city that where the water was floating above ground. And
But
you said
no-
bubble, and that's the only thing I retained.
But no battle core.
I know
Yeah.
that's so they lacked everything.
You are so lucky you didn't watch that.
That's what I gather from the first 5 minutes of that episode I listened to.
that or maybe he would like it. Who knows?
You keep insinuating that about bad things, KZ, and I'm eventually going to start getting offended.
Hey, I no longer get offended at the cruelty you throw toward me, so I feel like there should be a good back and forth going
Well, no,
on.
it's only okay when I do it.
Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, same here.
American Arcadia.
I'm trying to remember.
It
Yeah.
was like the Defunct Land like trailer where they're like, we made this ultimate city and this person's trying to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that running.
Like-
Okay.
it's like escape the 1970s American utopia.
Yeah, I filed that under looks interesting. Hope it doesn't control like ass.
Here's the thing my brain does. I don't know if everyone else is like this, but if I watch a conference and you have an interesting world and etc., but your gameplay is a lot of 3D, but you're walking from left to right as I look at cool shit in the background. A lot of it, your trailer's cut from a lot of that. I will forget entirely what your gameplay was and just remember your world. Because I remembered it and then I went, what the fuck did you do in that game?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I just
Yeah.
fucking forgot.
Someone pointing out that it's inside but colorful and 70s really kind of nailed that, where it's like, yeah, the gameplay looks just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Goat Simulator 3 punked us.
Yes, that was amazing.
That was a double punk of they tried to make you think it was Dead Island 2 by recreating it, and also I don't think there's a Goat Simulator 2. I think they skipped 2.
Yeah,
That was an unqualified victory. We have been defeated.
That was
TKO.
it was made perfect by Jeff Keighley running into it with
a sequel to a franchise that you've been waiting a long time for.
yes.
Yeah,
It's
I was
technically
and I was
true,
willing to
but-
believe I was willing to believe that Dead Island 2 would look significantly worse than it did from its original reveal, so I was like super bought into it just looking bad.
That was the best part. They didn't tell us something believable and we went, well, that was a dick move. They made us believe something ridiculous
Yes.
for an extended period of time.
That was crazy and was making some of my friends go insane. Like Alto moments before saying, "I'm making Dead Island 3," and then this happened.
Marvel Midnight Sun dropping October 7th with Spider-Man, acted by Spider-Man, and demon versions of Venom and Hulk. That Hulk demon was fucking cool.
Yeah.
That Venom demon was really lame.
I can't shake off how much it reminds me of the event comic that made me quit reading comics.
I want to go back and watch that thing apparently of just gameplay reveal, because maybe that'll sell me more on it.
Yeah, I thought it looked okay, but its usage of cards may in fact kill you, but we'll see.
I don't know, Bob. I feel like going back and watching the the gameplay trailer might scare me away. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to believe in the cool designs.
Believe in the myth.
Because I know what
Believe in the cool
happens.
designs except Wolverine.
I know what happens at the end of that cutscene, at the end of the trailer of, oh, I'm ringing the bell. Oh, this worked that one time. Where is he? And then he busts in and it's like, ah! And then an XCOM thing starts. And I know that's like not what anyone expects based on what... This was the only trailer during all of Summer Games Fest so far that I just went, reminder chat, this is an XCOM game. Like, I had to remind them... This looks nothing like what the gameplay is based on this trailer. But it could be really cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some cat dad is making a Midnight Fight Express by himself.
Yeah.
That's
Looks
cool.
neat.
August 23rd. It looked like a neat game.
You can tell on that one I had no idea what the hell that was, even after watching it, so I just wrote game and date.
Dude beat dudes up, ride car, shoot stuff, top down.
Show guys shoot sinks.
Looks pretty high end for a solo project.
Yeah.
And I spent a decent chunk of this going, was that John Wick 3 that I had the two sinks lined up and then just puts his head through? Because I know it happened in a Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I was
But
like,
I feel like we watched some
did
other
in
fucking
Fallout.
movie where that exact thing happened as well, and we were like, Jesus Christ.
I think it might have also happened in 3. God, 3's so good.
Yeah. I'm really excited for John Wick 4.
Oh, yeah.
Honkai Star Rail announced by MiHoYo.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a turn-based RPG from what we were looking at. Like, all the characters were lined up, did, like, super attacks.
yeah, I think technically this was announced earlier, but this is the first time we actually saw like a good chunk of it.
And it looks cool as hell.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I really hope the writers can handle something like this, because you can't just fall back on your open world gameplay if you're a turn-based RPG.
Yep.
Yeah. Zenless Zone Zero gets another trailer. That was the action game made by MiHoYo.
Yeah, it's like urban city environments. Cool characters. There's like a wolfman with like rocket legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did lots of cool stuff in this, and obviously having characters that are very different from one another, which a lot of complaints around Genshin Impact are, oh, there's only like 3 model types for characters.
Yeah.
Which they still do tons of new unique moves and stuff, and I always thought that complaint was a little weird, but hey, they're addressing it with this.
Yeah, they're addressing it by going, that's a big wolf guy.
Yeah, there's a giant
Yep.
raccoon man and a wolf man in this.
Very cool. What else do we have? We also have TMNT Shredder's Revenge coming June 16th. They announced Casey Jones in 6-player local and online co-op.
That's really good.
This
announced-
might be my announcement of the show. Because I really, this whole time, like, just add Casey Jones, please, and it's perfect. And that 6-player thing blew my ass.
The turtles are fed up mode where they just beat the shit out of you.
It's no longer defeat. We're gonna kill Shredder.
I'm just curious. We had that One Piece announcement.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not a One Piece guy. Somebody tried to explain and hype up that thing or explain.
I mean, we didn't really get told a lot. It's just like how almost every One Piece game starts, which is like, we found something messed up.
Thank
yeah,
you,
We're
Phil.
we're gonna have an adventure on this new island that we found, which is how most arcs go.
Yeah, it's a turn-based
Yeah, okay.
RPG.
Okay.
So that's fresh, I guess.
It looks higher rent than any other one they've made, so
Yeah,
that's exciting.
I'll
Right.
take this over World Seeker, which was just a game where you only play as Luffy, and it's a Ubisoft open world game.
Yeah, that game's insane. I tried to play it for like 2 or 3 hours, and I'm like, this is bad. This is real bad. Why'd you do this?
We also got an English dub trailer for Soul Hackers 2 and a release date of August 26th. That's good.
God. Unrelenting.
Yeah, it's coming out like barely a month after Xenoblade 3.
You know, I've seen a lot of people being like, yeah, the news of this year is that it's delayed till next year. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We got so many announcements for this month.
Yeah, I'm like, you need to follow the apocalypse of video games coming out. Fucking Live Alive's coming out next month.
And
Jesus.
my premonition slipped. It wasn't IGN Expo. It was, in fact, Summer Game Fest Metal Hellsinger.
Yes.
It's all coming up, Metal Hellsinger.
I got to find out who in my friend circle doesn't watch our Summer of Gaming streams because they're like, this game looks interesting and cool. And I'm like, I'm melting.
We've seen it so many
They
times.
don't know what I've had to watch.
Nope. Demo out now.
Oh, cool. You go try it?
Yeah, I'll try it. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Nightingale gets another trailer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
That's
That's the one where you
really
like,
cool
go
game
through
with all the
portals and
bad
shit.
adjectives.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
Oh, the what?
Bad adjectives. The game that looks sick as shit, except it's a survival, crafting, procedurally generated multiplayer
Yes.
bullshit.
Didn't you combine cards or elements in order to craft the worlds you
Yeah,
enter?
that's the way it seems.
Yeah, that's cool as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
like
they
this-
say
unbelievably
you're
cool.
this is a survival game set in the Fey Wild. So the implication is that you're like using Fey magic to open a portal to a plane using these like key cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, this game might rule despite what it is.
Yeah. Saints Row Boss Factory demo. Make your boss.
Yeah. Make your character for the main game that comes out later on.
I hope they have all the voice options in this demo
Mm.
because I know I think it was Saints Row 3 or I forget which one it was where it's just like voice option 4 you're Nolan North. He's
Yes.
being Nolan North. So I'm wondering if we'll have something like that where it's like you can be Troy Baker. He's being Troy Baker.
Yeah, that's the hope with these sorts of things.
Right.
An interesting thing that I noticed from a friend who was actually already booting that up, when you make your character, if you're like naked, they give you the options to choose what sensor you want on those parts. They're like, what sticker do you want of the boobs?
Oh,
So
that's
they've
kind of
even
funny.
fleshed it out pretty well.
Warhammer Darktide launching September 13th. It's Vermintide, but Warhammer 40K.
Right.
What more do you need?
Yep. So here's the thing I just realized, and I realized this before that last news bullet. I'm so late in this, I can't reorder the news to not end the same way the conference did, and I'm sorry. Because now we're ending our show the same way.
Oh, shit.
Layers of Fear by Bloober Team coming early 2023 using Unreal Engine 5. They had to tell me this because I honestly couldn't have told you that based on how it looked.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
That was the most dusting trailer of Gotham Knights they could have made.
A lot of really specific cuts to make that combat look presentable.
You think this is Dick Grayson's worst haircut in this game?
Just you wait. Then The Last of Us part started.
And didn't fucking stop.
No, it
Yeah.
was unrelenting. The
Oh,
Last of Us
man.
Factions is a standalone multiplayer game with the story and a new cast. Actual real info next year.
Yeah.
Like 8 fucking times.
Here's a concept art for it, and that's all you have? What? This game's been developed for 2 or 3 years.
I could swallow that if it wasn't for the next moment. The next moment being, here's The Last of Us TV show. One picture.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, come
One
on,
picture.
come on.
we have the most time in this conference and the least to show.
And I'm like, wow, that's fucking great. And they're like, Trey Baker and the person who played Ellie, who I don't know the last name of,
Ashley Johnson.
Johnson. Thank you.
I'm looking at her on stage. I'm like, I like her. Why is she standing around during all this bullshit?
They're gonna play characters in the show.
Whoa.
as I said, it'd be really great if Troy Baker's just like, I have to do a really different voice from Joel, so here I go. Wow, look at here. Yeah, and Druckmann apparently directed one episode of the series. Once again, please end this segment. And then, what absolutely positively should not have been the conclusion of the show? The Last of Us remake, $70.
Yep, which naturally they just call part 1 because they called 2 part 2.
They couldn't show any gameplay. The game comes out less than 3 months from now.
Well, it's exactly the same. So what can they show?
Allegedly, they have innovated the gameplay.
Yes,
I'm
allegedly.
excited for this innovations that I will have to pay $70 to find.
One of the core complaints I saw from sane people regarding The Last of Us 2 was this feels like it came out 2 years after, not 7 years after.
Yeah, it was a while after.
Yeah,
So-
7
so
because
I'm
it
like,
came out
well,
right
even
off of PS4.
Even if it uses all the same systems as like The Last of Us 2, it's like that isn't that much different than 1.
Yeah.
$70. There is a $100 edition.
It was a wrong decision to remake this game.
Incredibly wrong, and it's literally the exact product of bureaucracy and bullshit.
I can't believe that Jeff Keighley let this be the conclusion to his show. It's like, I know that Last of Us is a franchise is big, but this is the last thing anyone wants to see.
Yeah.
And if you could read the room at all.
I
This
do
didn't help
I do
anybody.
wonder
No.
like what are the sales of this going to be? Like their comparison shots are not different enough to wow anyone who isn't just lobotomized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he definitely likes this type of stuff where it's like, oh, it's a transmedia event because they're putting out the remake. They got this other game. They're doing the TV show not too long after this comes out. So I can totally see why he just signed up for this.
Yeah.
Where he's like, this is exciting.
Yeah.
I just got pissed when I saw $70 and there's a digital deluxe for $80 and PlayStation Direct, it's already sold out, but they had the $100 version with like a steelbook and stuff for a remake that everyone is questioning why it exists.
Now, to be clear, to anyone who's brain dead somehow, I think most people on staff enjoyed The Last of Us 1. Like, I enjoyed it immensely.
Love the hell out of that game.
Yeah, it was really good.
This is a terrible idea. Turn back.
Yeah, it's been 9. It hasn't even been a decade.
Yeah, like this wasn't a game that like suffered from the technical limitations of its time, and now we can fully realize that it was a giant opus at the end of a gen. It looked next gen when it came out. It's too soon. I've been sitting here thinking of how can I make this make sense. And I'm pretty good at that. I was a Christian for 20 years. The only thing I can think of is if this was maybe part of their, like when the PS5 launched and they gave you like all those free games on PS Plus, the welcome to play, like we know you've been buying Xboxes for 20 years, so welcome to PlayStation package.
Yes.
That might be part of that. That like they're not going to go back and play a PS4 game, so if we make it a PS5 game, maybe that whole demographic will buy it all over again.
Yeah.
And then go buy 2.
And then it's like, well, you didn't land that. People were pointing out this is coming to PC. This remake.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's their way to get PC people to try to pay $70.
Well, that was like because there's no way they were going to be able to port the Last of Us, like the original one, to PC because that shit was a PS3 game. They couldn't even make the PS4 version actually for real 60 frames per second.
I mean, that's true.
If they were just remaking it so they could port it to PC, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. But that wasn't the original intent. That just sort of accidentally became what is the single bastion of any logic anywhere in this.
Yes.
They also slipped in right at the start. We actually got numbers on The Last of Us 2 where it has sold 10 million.
Oh, wow.
I was actually wondering how much that sold, but that's one of the first things Neil ended up saying.
Wow.
Because I honestly, it sounded like it didn't sell that great because they didn't talk about sales.
Yeah, Sony never wanted to talk about sales for that game, which is very weird. They're very open to talking about sales, generally speaking. They weren't for Death Stranding, But similarly, because people assumed the sales were bad, they eventually opened up on that.
I mean, I'm sure that it didn't sell as much as they wanted for how much that game probably cost.
Yeah, no shit. Like, they didn't sell 40 mil. That game is so expensive. That game, and you know there's absolutely, because of the way they talk about making games at Naughty Dogs, there's absolutely some shit they just made and threw the fuck away because they came back one week and they thought, wouldn't it be more interesting if the story never fucking ended?
You know what? That's how you do the grand opus video game about the cycle of violence. You go back and retry that 7th gen episodic gaming paradigm.
Yeah.
So every 2 months we get, and then you go over to their camp and fuck them up. And then 2 months later, they come over here and fuck up your camp.
Wow. Why did I buy all of these? This is amazing. I'm an idiot who should be trusted with my own bank account.
No, but see, it's a value on Game Pass.
Anyways, I think that's it for the news. I don't need to do what are we doing? It's the summer of gaming, motherfuckers. We have 5 more days of this shit.
So exciting. At least we're not doing a big thing, everyone.
No, we have 6 more days because Nintendo thing is rumored to be next Wednesday.
Oh my god, why can't this also be Tuesday?
What were they thinking?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how true it'll end up being. One of the games that showed up today was allegedly supposed to appear there. Yeah,
honestly,
neon white.
Honestly, it would be really great if that happened. Because when we had real E3, Nintendo towards the end of real E3 brought it.
Yeah, no, they always
Every
just
time.
came out at the very end of the set and was like, "Oh, that's the best one, easy."
Yes, that's
Sony
always how
showed
it
up.
goes.
Sony showed up and they're like, we're still fucking hammered. And then Microsoft's like, we're cool. What's up? Daps, bro.
I miss the days of like the Microsoft B Plus conference, the Sony which way is it gonna go extravaganza, and then Nintendo being like, the fuck is wrong with the rest of this industry? Here's 2 games you want, 1 game your mom wants, and we'll see you next month.
In 3 months, these people who wouldn't shut up for years that they're not being serviced are going to get all the blowjobs in the world.
Nintendo, I feel like, has become the most exciting events because that's where people drop their, here's our remaster of this thing, it's out today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I really hope that is happening.
Yeah,
that will help save the feeling of the summer of gaming.
Right, because this conference was okay, ends really poorly, and then what we have left to look forward to is a little grim. Of like 2 days of stuff that looks really bad, like IGN Expos and Guerrilla Collective, and then we have the Microsoft Bethesda show, which we've already been over in this very news big thing. How many horrible problems they have with those studios.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard to get psyched for that.
Oh man, I'm psyched for that conference. They're gonna open it with a video of like, how dare you? How dare you not thank us every day for the products we make? We invented joy.
We invented the first-person shooter, game streaming, RPGs, the concept of a PC game, online multiplayer.
And
You're welcome for Fallout 76.
And because of a small acquisition, we made the debayer method. Look it up. We invented cameras, digital cameras. We did that. Thanks, guys. But no. I mean, I'm excited because I'm excited for the summer of gaming. Not because I think amazing things will happen. But there's some fun to be had sitting there. And if something great happens, you go, nice. And if something horrible happens, it's like you're sitting on your front porch just yelling at some dude, fuck you for shitting on your lawn.
Right? Like, I'm not at all unmotivated to watch it.
No.
It will be a fun experience. I think it all looks kind of grim, but that's fine.
We're all gonna go on a hike, gang.
You're at the top of the roller coaster hill, and that's not all roller coaster track down there.
See, I differ from Bob a little bit because there's grim like Xbox and the PC game show, and then there's grim like the IGN Expo and Guerrilla Collective, and even those might be okay, but then there's Grimm, which is like the Netflix thing.
That IGN Expo, I'm psyched for because that's where I'm going to see more Wanted Dead.
Cool. Is that the
That's the thing for former Ninja Gaiden developers.
former Valhalla or
Yeah.
whatever? Yeah. That
Yeah.
actually is exciting.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to be there. Well, I guess that does it for this Big Think Live. Thank you all for joining us live. Hopefully we'll continue to be alive for the next week.
Yeah, it sounds like we might have to keep live streaming daily until our next Big Think next Thursday.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And then Sony will be, our second show is on that day.
I know! The
They're like,
bastards!
We've decided that our Sony show will be Thursday at 6 p.m.
We're here to show you 2 more pictures of the Last of Us show. Team Blooper Silent Hill 2 remake.
Wait, we have one more still from the TV show.
Okay.
Oh no, wait, that's from the Halo show.
So unfortunately, due to the poor sales of the Medieval remake, we have canceled the Ape Escape remake.
We should announce this.
Now you just mean.
You're going to see a real life flash step if that happens.
You're
Dan's
like
gone.
George
Dan's
Lucas
in the
against J.J.
video.
Abrams.
This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.